All right.
Okay, Jessiie, it's just me and you.
I know. We're missing the Slack man.
Unfortunately, seems to have had a family emergency, but we've no idea what that is, so I hope everything's okay for Slack, bless him.
Yeah.
So I guess...
It's weird. We haven't had just two people in a while, it feels like.
I know, right? I know. Maybe he's having a big rest before our big episode 30 when we do the live one.
I know. Are you excited?
Yeah, I am actually. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that I feel slightly better when we do that than I do today. But yeah, speaking of which, I should probably introduce the world's worst segue. Hello and welcome back to the Minecraft Update podcast, the unofficial Minecraft Update podcast. That mind you, geez. It is episode 29. My name is FoxyNoTail. I'm joined by Jessiie B, and this week we've been up to so many things, haven't we, Jessiie? Tell me all about your week.
My week has been interesting. I have hit the official struggle bug-in for episodes. I cannot, for some reason, get over this wall. Like, I'm on the server all the time. I still love TB. I'm still having fun at my base. But when it comes to actually making an episode, I can sit there for like 5 hours just staring at a screen. Like, I don't know what to do. I have a list of like ideas, like, okay, this would be a fun episode. I go to do it and I'm like, no. I would much rather just be streaming right now, which then leads to what I've been doing, which is streaming nonstop. I have been either in my Discord streaming or on Twitch streaming. I have only missed 2 days in the last week and a half.
Oh, that's
good. And yeah, it's been a lot, but it has been genuinely like the happiest I have been in content creating in a really long time. So I don't know. It's a weird feeling when you're still loving what you're doing, but it switched. Like I was making videos all the time. I was doing it and it was like I was really happy, and then I think I was just replacing streaming because before I had Evie, I streamed all the time, and so it's kind of made me question where my content goes from here. Like, do I enjoy making videos? Do I want to switch to mostly streaming? I don't know. So I'm kind of in this weird limbo.
What have you been streaming on? Have you been streaming on Truly Bedrock or hardcore or personal stuff?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Both. I have been on Truly Hardcore about once a week and TB the rest. And
nice.
Just, yeah. I mean, next time you log on to TB, you will see there are now trees lining our areas. Like,
wow,
I've
you've
gone
blocked
around
me off,
where
have you? You're sick of looking at it all. Wow.
No. I've kind of like shaped where I figured your river would go. Like, I've given you space. I haven't shaped your river, but like I've gone along and just been like, okay, a tree would look good here. And it just felt like a natural separation of like where yours was going and where mine is. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that, trying to get things really detailed right now.
Nice. Any webcam streams yet?
Not yet. So yesterday, actually, my mount got here because I got my webcam and I realized I couldn't position it in a way that one isn't really bad, like straight up and down, and I was like, that's not a good angle for anybody because you just see right in places you shouldn't. And I was like, all right, this is not ideal, right? So I was like, okay,
some
I'll move
people
it to
would
the other
appreciate
monitor.
that position.
I'm sure they would. I would not. So I moved it to my other monitor, and then it was like right in my face. Like it was just, I was like, I do not like this. So I went ahead and I bought like a flexi mount thing, and it's a much better position now. So I'm getting ready. I'm gearing up. I think I probably need I think that just like boost. like I'm ready, but I'm like super scared. So we're gonna test it in Discord probably this week, and then kind of take it from there and see. Maybe next stream day I'll do my first Twitch webcam stream. I'm nervous. I'm excited though.
Oh, that's really good. But yeah, that is one of the unspoken troubles of being a streamer is where you put your webcam.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. So I always had previously like 3 monitors on my desk, and they were all like lined up in a row nicely. So they're all touching together. So when you move the mouse from one to the other, it all moves smoothly, which meant you either got to have your webcam above them or below them. If you do it below them, you get the biggest double chin in the world. And if you have it above them, you have the shiniest forehead in the world. Or in your case, you need to wear a turtleneck.
Exactly.
So now I literally had to get rid of my 3 matching perfect monitors, replace them with 2 bigger ones, and then separate them. So my webcam's at eye level in the middle of them both, which means I've got like a 4-inch gap between the 2 monitors, which is fine. I've kind of got used to it. But when I'm doing anything on the left monitor, I'm like craning my neck to look at it. So, so it's, it had the struggles. It'd be great if they had them. I know they have them like built into laptop screens, and some monitors they haven't built in, but it's always at the wrong point or the wrong place. It'd be nice if they were actually literally like embedded behind the center of the screen that you're working on. That would be great. So yeah, no, I can feel you on that one, but I'm so glad you're getting there. It sounds good. I'm looking forward to Jessiie B webcam streams.
Me too, I'd say. Yeah. But again, super like daunting. I don't know. I think I remember when you first started, right? You were like that, a little like nervous. You're like, I don't know if I want people to associate FoxyNoTail with my face versus, the character. And I've been feeling that with that added pressure of I don't want people to think that I'm doing it just because I'm a girl. So I'm like, it's that weird thing where I'm like, I want to do it because I feel like I connect better. Like I've been told, and when I watch people's streams, I like being able to see their face, right? Like I like the genuine reaction. I like just feeling that connection. Yeah. So I want that for my viewers, right? Like I want to be able to share that, and like when they jump scare me, to literally see that I am not pretending, that I am in fact an anxious wreck, right? But I will never not feel like, oh, people are gonna think that I'm just doing this because I'm probably gonna get a little bit more attention than I was before. No, and I'm like, oh.
It just works for streaming, doesn't it? That's the whole point. I mean, I don't like seeing people's face cams on YouTube videos. I find it really distracting and off-putting.
Yeah.
But it is because the streams, it's not go content. There's a human aspect to it, and you need to be able to see what that person's doing to know that, to try and eliminate some of that, just otherwise would be probably quite a bit of boredom for some people. So I think it's a really good idea going forward. So good luck. I hope it works out for you. And Jessie's left. Jessiie? Hello? Computer's freaking out. Oh, great. Well, it looks like it's just me on this week's podcast. Oof, Jessiie. Great. We'll be back after these short messages. Don't worry about if. Because you will have saved it anyway. But I was going to say, don't worry about having to redo everything again, because it's just me and you. The OBS recording will be fine for that first bit from my.
Well, I was going to say it actually restored it. So
that's good.
Yeah, I have all of my beginning up until now. I just pressed record.
Nice.
So it's here.
Woohoo!
We can keep going like nothing happened.
Yeah, only 15 minutes later, and it's just like nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good.
Excellent.
Professional.
Yeah.
So, what were you saying about your week, Foxy?
Well, I did have a nice segue plan, a genuinely good one this time, from what you were saying to what I was going to go into, because you was talking about, webcams and filming yourself. And this week, Jessiie, I've been filming myself.
Ooh, filming yourself doing what?
Everything.
Everything.
So, basically, I think I can't remember if I've mentioned it previously or not, but I've getting deep and personal, Jessiie. I've been lazy. I've fallen into bad food habits. I've fallen into bad exercise habits. And as a result, I'm very heavy, a lot heavier than I've ever been before. And I'm unfit and I'm tired a lot. So I took it upon myself to start getting fit and getting active and eating better again. But the problem I've got is I'm lazy and I don't like exercise. So the problem is, great if you got a gym buddy, you've got two people, you go to the gym together. I don't have a gym buddy. I don't have anyone that lives locally that I could go to the gym with. So I need a way of forcing myself to sort of continue this thing. So I thought the best way of doing that is to just vlog it, document it. So I was the original idea was to just do like 1 week at a time, a snippet here and a snippet there. But I managed, I started yesterday actually doing it, and I've recorded a full like 20-minute long full day of just yesterday and everything I've done, everything I've eaten, all that sort of stuff. I nearly killed myself in the process of like I did weights yesterday. It was weights day, and I can hardly feel my arms today, which is fine. So yeah, I like doing it. You know, I'm not. Again, we were talking about. You were saying, people wanting to see Foxy as the character rather than, or I've always wanted people to see them rather than me. But it'll be on the second channel, on my second channel, and I don't know. I look awful. I mean, the video starts with me literally waking up. As soon as I woke up, woke up from my alarm, I grabbed the GoPro and I put it in my face, like saying, it's like 6:50 a.m. and I've got to get up and got puffy eyes, and throughout the whole of it, I look gross. My hair's awful. I'm sweaty, but it's that's the kind of the point is that it's like, I'm not trying to hide who I am. I'm trying to say, this is who I am. This is the problem, and I want to get better. So, I'm hoping that first one's gonna come out tomorrow. I'm hoping they'll go all right. I've obviously started recording day 2 today, and today instead of weights, I went on a bike ride. But I've just been so tired today because I don't know if it's that I started feeling a bit unwell during my live stream yesterday. And I don't know if it's something I'm coming down with or I'm just exhausted from doing too much yesterday. So we'll see. But it'll all get better regardless. The more I do, the easier it'll get. So
I mean, the first days are never easy. Like that's never you never do the first day and you're like, oh wow, this was great. This was
that was easy.
Yeah, you get back into it and you're miserable. The first week is gonna get you. That's where you're gonna be like, I want to quit. I hate this. This is awful. And then you get that feeling where you're like, no, wait, I like this. This is a routine I can do. I more power to you. I am not in a state where I would be confident or comfortable enough doing that. But dang. That's amazing. I mean, you see it all the time, right? There are people who they're just like, I'm done. I'm done feeling this way. This is the worst I've been. This is the heaviest I've been. This is the whateverest I've been. And then they document it and things just go right. Like having that accountability, having something to look back on and be like, this is where I started. I don't want to be there again. It's great. It's just scary.
I think the hardest part of anything like that is because it's not just about, I'm going to do this for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. You've got to change your lifestyle. You've got to break bad habits. You've got to get into new habits. And I didn't want to run before I could walk. So when I did like this 25-minute weight routine yesterday, I was like 10 minutes in and I'd done everything I was planning on doing on the app. I was like, I feel like I've hardly done anything. I should really push on.
Yeah.
And then obviously I went too far with it, and I don't want to push myself so far early on that I'm going to stop doing it, but I also don't want to take it too easy that doesn't do anything. So I'm enjoying cooking. I'm enjoying doing the exercise. I'm enjoying go on.
Foxy, does that mean I get more food Instagram pictures? Is that what you're telling me?
Everything I've cooked, so the way the first vlog goes and the way that the other ones will probably go, I haven't edited the other ones obviously yet because I only started filming today's one today. But so the first one is me doing a lot of talking, explaining it all, like going through like old photos. Well, not loads of old photos, but like explaining the certain exercise you can't do because I had an accident here, so my knees, and there's photos of me in hospital and stuff like that. So, but then like all the cooking and the exercise. So the cooking, I just chop up, so it's like really fast. Throw this ingredient, throw that ingredient, see the pan sizzling, take the lid off. Oh, it's cooked. Put it on the plate. So it's fast, but you can see what I'm doing, and I'm talking about what I'm going to be cooking. The exercise I've done as like a time lapse, and like I've even done like me sitting in front of the computer working all day yesterday as a time lapse as well in it. So there's going to be a bit of this and a bit of that in there, right, edited together. So I don't know how that'll go in the long term, because obviously I'm not going to be doing the same amount of explaining and talking over all of them. But I am trying to film all the stuff that I'm eating and cooking, because I think that's interesting. That's like the you know, what are you doing to change? What are you having? Oh well, he just we don't know, because we don't know what he had for lunch. He could have had a pizza. He could have had a bar of chocolate. No, this is, you know, I picked this recipe from this recipe book. I've cooked it now. And now moving on. And that's the other, that is the other bad habit to break. So there's a few on the list, and I'm going to approach them pretty much all at the same time. So there's obviously bad eating, bad exercise routine, snacking, which I'm trying to knock on the head completely, starting to have breakfast instead of snacks in the evening, because I hate breakfast, but I'm doing that instead of trying to snack in the evening. And also trying to cut down like coffee content, because I normally have like 7, 8, maybe 10 cups of coffee a day, and today I had 2, and then I got to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, I need coffee. So,
that is a lot to change at once. I mean, if you can go cold turkey, or well, not even cold turkey, but if you can cut all those habits at once, I'm sure you'll be better off for it. But I
think it's easy to do everything at once and make a big change, as long as you can do it, as long as you can continue with it. A couple of years ago, just before started, I did, I don't know if you remember, but I went way too far with it, but I went on a massive like calorie deficit diet slash exercise slash thing, and I lost like over 2 stone in a few months, and I felt great. I was tired, I'm not gonna lie, but I'd stopped all my bad habits. I wasn't eating snacks. I was still drinking a lot of coffee, but my calorie intake was a lot less. I was exercising a lot more, and as a result, when we went to Disneyland just before, you know, the lockdown started, we were walking all day. I wasn't tired. I wasn't puffed out. I wasn't out of breath. And it was great to just be able to have that level of energy for the kids. And I just don't have that at the minute. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to get that back. But obviously the other one wasn't sustainable, because it was too much, and I was too tired, and I was just too hungry. And the other reason was obviously when lockdown went into effect, it was just like, I can't. I was doing, like, my mum was getting me online shopping. And it was just, I can't be bothered with this every week. And it just sort of went from bad to worse from that point on, really. So, all right, okay. Before we move into feedback, my other bit of news this week, other thing I've been doing is I made a very unusual video, Jessie.
I watched it this morning.
Did you see it, did you?
I did.
Mr. Onion's holiday. This came around because Oliver, who's just about to turn 8, I obviously do Mr. Onion stuff at home with him. He thinks it's funny, and Mr. Onion obviously says silly phrases that don't make much sense. And he was asking me what it actually says, how do you actually say that in French? And I'm like, I have no idea. So we were getting Google Translate out, and he thought it was hilarious. So I thought, well, what if I did a whole video of that? So it's basically the joke is it's common words and phrases you might use when you're on holiday in France, but it's just Mr. Onion saying ridiculous things that are completely useless to anybody. Like there's one section in it, calling home. If you're calling home and you're English, chances are the people you're going to be speaking to at the other end are English, so you don't need the French translations at all. But it just made me laugh. So I did that, and he went out. I did it as a premiere today, and I don't think it's going to perform well, but it seems to have had a nice reaction so far, so that's good. So, yeah.
It was brilliant. It was really funny.
Oh, I'm glad you think so.
We need more of that, right? Like more just random funny. I like it.
Yeah. So I haven't done any TB episodes this week. I'm still putting off doing my next part of the storyline video because it's just such hard work. But I haven't got the kids with me this weekend, so I should get a bunch of time to get cracking on that, because that's one of those ones I just need a whole day. I need like the whole morning just to set everything up, get all the phones out, get the laptop out, get all the controllers wired up just to get people in. And then I got to actually think about how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to need a whole day just to record that bit. And then that once I really wanted to do it. I want to do more storyline stuff. I need to bite off a little bit less in future than I'm doing. But once that one's out the way, it'd be really nice to just get back into the normal flow of, that's the other bad habit I need to break. I'm in a bad habit of not putting out Truly Bedrock videos, not doing my channel properly. You know, I'm putting out like 4 or 5 videos a week on my second channel with the podcast and the live stream VODs and now this vlog. And my main channel's like getting one every couple of weeks. So, you know, that's something else I need to really, really force myself back into. And I'm looking forward to doing it. I'm feeling very positive. Whether or not it'll last, we'll find out. No doubt everyone will watch this vlog of me and go, oh my God, look how horrendous he looks and how out of breath he is. Unsubscribe. You can see his belly when he lays down on that weight bench sticking out of his... Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. Put your sunglasses on when you watch it and sit in a dark room. It's fine. Turn your brightness down.
Don't be mean to my friend.
All right, so speaking of bad comments and negative reactions, how's the feedback this week, Jessie? Have you read it?
I haven't read anything yet. I'm going into this blind.
Oh, man. Okay, well, if you would like to send us feedback, Jessie, you in particular, then please do by emailing news@theminecraftupdate.com or using our handy feedback form, which is on our very much unfinished website. Or you could join the Discord and throw it in there instead. So, yeah. Jessie. Oh, also, Jessie... My feedback to you is, you said last week you were going to compile all of the stuff that wasn't in those places and create something. Have you done that for us this week?
Did I say that?
Yes.
Was that
yes, you did.
Something that I don't remember.
I think you do. I think if we played it back, I'm pretty sure you were like, yeah, I'll do that. That's not a problem. I'd really enjoy doing that.
I'm just going to say completely... You know, GoXLR is doing the thing where it's switching on and off. So we're going to see how this goes.
I think, did you just say something about your audio not working? Because you just completely cut out for me then.
Yes, that's exactly what I said. I said that my GoXLR, it's basically like flashing on and off.
Oh,
like it'll cut in and then it'll go out. And then, of course, it redoes all of the settings.
Oh, no.
Because it's like, oh, no, you had me turned off. And I'm like,
This will explain your buzzing previously. It sounds like you've got a loose wire somewhere. It sounds like your connection. I think you just need a new power cable for it, Jessie.
Okay, well, we'll have to look into that.
Because
if that's what it is, because it certainly would make sense. Because, yeah, it's just randomly like, whoop, nope, I'm not here.
Don't wobble your table. Don't touch your desk.
Okay.
Stay back.
Hands off. Yep, hands off. Not touching nothing.
Yeah.
This is great.
Geez. And don't, with your feet kicking under the table, don't be kicking the wires by mistake, you know.
Yep, not touching anything, not doing nothing. I'm just going to sit here and lean into my mic.
Well, that was a very good way around getting out of saying, no, you haven't bothered to do the things that you said you were going to do. So we're moving on from that.
Okay, but I do want to say, I don't have access to, like, anything.
You do, don't you? You should have access to it all.
No, I have no idea.
Oh, so it's my fault. Oh, I see.
Yeah, I have no idea about the emails no, I have access to nothing.
Right, I'm sorry, Jessie. I didn't realize it was my fault. I apologize.
I mean, I should have said. I just was like, don't have access. They don't want me in here. They don't trust me enough.
Right. Well, remind me to give you access to all of those things after the podcast because,
okay.
We're going to hold you to it. If it's not done next week, Jessie, for our 30th special, I'm going to be very disappointed. And so will all of the listeners. Jeez.
I mean, they probably will.
Fancy webcam or not.
Wow, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll come into the live one with a webcam and be like, you can't be mad at me.
Right, coffee, otherwise known as Moronic Coffee 1 says, good day, podcast crew. So I've listened to every podcast from the beginning with a couple of hours for me. They come out at 5 a.m. my time. This was the third podcast. This was the first podcast that I have ever considered not finishing. Oh, geez. Let me fix it, right? And then I'll read it again. This was the third podcast.
That's on you, buddy.
Needed outtakes. This was the first podcast that I've ever considered not finishing. I understand each person grieves differently, and the whole situation with Technoblade is sad. To hear repeatedly about it actually drives some people away. As for what Mojang does or does not do in the near future is up to them. It's a slippery slope that will have consequences that they will have to deal with. Love each of your content and completely understand the blahs at times. Appreciate you all. To some of us, you are the light in dark days. So I think that was overall very nice piece of feedback there. And I understand, it's one of those things, like, if it's news like that, it's going to be everywhere because it was a big deal to a lot of people. And it's just one of those things that we have to get through. And whether or not you didn't like it because you were grieving, or you didn't like it because you didn't care, because you didn't know them, it's just one of those things. You just got to let it pass. And I think, to be fair to us and to everyone else, I mean, it's kind of disappeared already, which is the way things like that need to go, really.
Yeah. A natural passing. Like, everyone's really upset, like, right away, as they should be. And then over time, it's just, it fades into facts, right? Like, it is what it is. And you can still be sad about it, but it doesn't have to be brought up every 2 seconds anymore. And yeah.
So at the end of the day, this is the Minecraft Update podcast. We like to cover things in and around Minecraft, and that was part of it. So, I made the decision to include it because I thought it needed including. But I think unless anything else along those lines happens, that will probably be the last we hear of it. So don't worry, you don't have to turn this podcast off. But feel free to if you want to. It's up to you. It's fine.
You don't have to be here. It's fine.
Exactly.
But please stay. We like you.
We won't hate you for it. We won't be angry. We'll just be very disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
Right, it's moving on.
Goodness.
Jeez.
Zeta says, for the record team, is that record team or record?
Record?
My brain. For the record team, that was amazing TV lore. I really loved hearing the different perspectives. So creative. However, I am #Team Zloy.
Wow.
My personal theory, I actually assumed season 0 to season 1 was a multiverse, but then the remainder have all been the same world. Season 2 is somewhere very far away in an infinite world from season 1, but still connected via the nether. And season 3 was a simulation done by Alice, but the main computer's processors were done and hosted in season 1 and 2 world. Season 4 was after they cleaned up the world, season 1, 2, and now the world builders are the simulation's construction crew. At least that's my theory.
Wow.
That's
rude. Guess you didn't like my season 3 finale then. That's fine. No problem.
I really, when I think about it, right, I like that everyone has like different, opinions, or like they create their own lore behind it or any of that. I find it fascinating, but I definitely feel like as part of TB, like in the middle of it, I definitely aligned more with yours versus Zloy's, only because Zloy's, I don't know how to word it. It didn't quite feel right. Like it doesn't feel like everything is one world. No. It just doesn't make sense to me. My brain is like, no. But I get it. I get, that timeline. I can follow what your personal theory is, Zeta, and I get it. So that's interesting.
In all honesty, I think that's a really good theory. I think it's really lovely. It is, slightly disheartening the fact that I've literally given you the facts in my season finale and you've completely ignored them. But no, joking aside, I did say at the beginning of season 3 that my storyline was going to go off on a tangent from the rest of the TB people, because I wanted very much to tell a story that didn't necessarily fall in line with what TB were doing. Now, in the end, it kind of all came together the same way anyway.
Yeah.
But in my one, obviously, for everyone else, Alice had made a simulation for season 3, which was fine. But and this is where we really differ. In my one, those simulations were all run by the Chucks at Chuck City, using Foxy clones like their brains as the simulation center. Whereas, and then at the end of that, Foxy gets shot across time and space through a time cannon to a new world, which was season 4. And it was very specific that it was a new world. It was a different place. Mm-hmm. And I think that didn't you guys get picked up by Piggy? I can't remember. We had so many different story ideas. I'm thinking one of them was Piggy. Piggy was going to rescue everyone and take them to season 4, which was a new world. So
I think Piggy and Jessiie were rescued and brought into a new world. I don't think were rescued. They were coming to find us. Maybe I don't see. Look, I don't even remember.
We don't even know. We don't know.
Yeah, because there were so many plans and there were so many alternatives, and I honestly don't remember what we ended up going with because I missed day 1.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Zloy normally comes up with all these ideas, and it's amazing, and he draws us little storyboards of how it all works. But then Zloy toddles off and does his own thing for a bit, and we all get very confused, and we drag him back, and it's like, hey, Zloy, what are we supposed to be doing here? And then he's got new ideas, and then I throw ideas in, and then someone else throws ideas in, and this all happens over like weeks and months. So there's nothing really grounded in there other than that original idea, which in other people's heads they're already changing and chopping to suit themselves. So by the time you get to the end of the season, we're like, how do we bring this all together? And I just thought, I was like, no, I'm going. I even said from the very beginning, I think I said at the end of season 2, I will be leaving season 3 early because my original plan was to get to season 4 late as well, but I changed that because I didn't want to miss the beginning. But yeah, my plan from right that point on was this is the story that I'm telling this season, and it was really nice that the other stuff kind of did align with it in the end. But there's a few loose ends. It doesn't quite match up. Anyway, I think we've beaten that one to death, Jessie.
I think so.
Do you want to go for Slacks or shall I?
I can do it.
Okay.
Cricket the Wise says, the magic update you guys described seems a bit too much for me, but I am all for a smaller apothecary update. And I got actually a few comments like this in my streams from people who had listened, saying that they didn't think that a full-on magic update like we were describing fit very Minecrafty. Like they were like, it feels
I hope you banned them all.
I didn't. They're allowed to have their opinion. But I have to disagree because I think when I look back, right, at what Minecraft was when I started, I would think almost everything we have isn't very Minecrafty. Like the idea of like the allay and all of those things, it would not have fit what my brain thought Minecraft was in the beginning. So I can't now look at future updates or things and be like, well, that's not very Minecrafty, because no, it is. If that's what Minecraft wants to do, it's Minecrafty. So I don't know. I'm trying to be very open-minded, and I do think that a magic update would be so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Back in the olden days, Minecraft was bare. There wasn't much there, but what was there was magical. We had potion brewing stands. We didn't have clerics. We didn't have cleric villagers, but we had potion brewing stands. We had portals to other dimensions. We had ender dragons. You know, all these things were so fantasy and out there. And the only other option was medieval. So you could go two ways with Minecraft. You could, I'm talking before we even had like concrete or anything like that. We might have had a bit of coloured wool, which people used to kind of make cartoony looking things or mini games with. But realistically, if you wanted to do anything semi-realism, it was either fantasy or it was medieval. There wasn't much else you could do. Then we got things like stone bricks and other stuff, and then we got the colourful update with the stained glass and the concrete, and it opened up a bit more. But that magic theme has always been there, and I just want them to expand on that. It doesn't have to be massive, you know. We don't have to all have broomsticks and be flying around and playing whatever Quidditch or whatever it is. But I'd like to be able to have a ranged magical attack. I'd like to be able to do the cauldron stuff and the potion stuff that we were talking about last week. I think that'll be gone. That'll be great. And I said, I think that'll be gone then, because Jessie's Go XLR's cut out again. No, that's going to be a long podcast. Are you back?
I think I'm back.
You are back. Amazing. Did you have to restart your PC again?
Yes, I did.
Oh, jeez. That's so weird. Okay, fair enough. Right, where were we up to? Long time listener, I think.
Yeah, I think it was that one.
Well, we're 50 minutes in.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm pressing my right now. Yeah, it's always something. It's always something.
Yeah. Right, okay. You recording?
Yes.
Excellent.
I'm recording.
Good to have you back.
Thanks.
Let's hope I don't have to do the rest of this solo. Right, long-time listener says, I absolutely agree with the comment/discussion on how foreknowledge of the updates casts a shadow over your current gameplay. For me, the issue is loss of motivation from hearing all about the shiny new blocks, biomes, mobs, but not having access to them yet. Then when the update finally arrives, I've been hearing about it for so long that it fails to hold my interest for long. I fully agree that shortening the hype cycle would be a huge benefit, or at least giving fewer details in advance. It would be hard for Mojang to change this, but I wish they would. Yeah, it's a tricky one to balance, but they've got to do something with all of these issues they've had with the negative feedback and then chopping and changing things and delays. I think they need an overhaul with their marketing plan on these things, because the world's just not like it was, when they started doing all of this, and they need to adapt, I think.
Yeah, I just don't see it very sustainably, right? Like it doesn't make sense that they could keep up at this pace. Like everything is bigger, everything is better, and it's just like you're gonna burn out. And for a company, that's probably not great.
No, it's not, and it just almost feel like it's on a slippery slope to Mojang, disappearing, and I don't think they will, but I really hope that they can. They've been so good at innovating. Let's hope that they can innovate in new ways to keep us wanting to come back and not just labouring us all with all these changes. Agreed.
Okay, C2 Caswell says, hello guys. On the last podcast, you guys suggested the idea of a super easy mode for younger players. In theory, it could be a good idea, but I'm not for it. I remember about 10 years ago playing Minecraft for the first time on our Xbox 360. My sister and I never had a problem playing the game on easy and normal modes. This probably helped our motor skills more than it hurt. At any rate, have a good day and sorry for my book. Thanks, C2. So how do I word this? I think it's great that you guys enjoyed it, right? Like, I think it's wonderful that you guys had a good time playing on playing on easy or normal. And I think you're right. It probably does help with motor skills, but I don't think there's anything wrong making a super easy for kids. I don't think that would be a negative thing in any way. And if you don't want to play super easy, you wouldn't have to. So I like that easy mode and normal mode are there and that people use them. I can't even imagine what it would be like playing on easy anymore. But like, I'm sure there are some people who live there and love it, right? But yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. If you're not for it, that's fine, but that doesn't mean people shouldn't do it. At the end of the day, I don't know how young you were 10 years ago when you were playing for the first time on your Xbox 360, but as somebody that's played with both of my kids as they've been growing up and watched them both struggle, I think it's an absolute necessity. And I don't think your argument on motor skills is remotely relevant. And that sounds like I'm being a bit harsh, but it's not, because you're still playing the game. You're still having to interact with it. You're just not able to die in our, make-believe super easy mode. And what was the other thing we said? Well, you're invincible. Oh, and you can fly. And they're just sort of things that come about when, I've had it when Oliver's been, we're going to play in survival. Yeah, okay. And then just a zombie comes along and he just doesn't have the way of, because he's on an iPad, like the dexterity or the way of dealing with it like I do, especially when he was a lot younger. So, it's not something that's going to crop up all the time. Or like when they get stuck somewhere and they can't get out and they're behind and they want to catch up and it's frustrating for them. And I don't think a game should be frustrating in that way. I think being frustrated creatively and forcing yourself around things for a creative thing is great, but just having hindrances to people that maybe have like motor skill disabilities or learning issues and stuff like that. I think just having another level there for people that are maybe not quite there would be better.
Agreed.
Having said that, the game does have a minimum age rating of 10 these days, so it's kind of irrelevant.
Does it really?
Yeah. The marketplace is aimed at 7 and 8 year olds. So there you go.
Exactly.
Okay, the Wolf Deaf. I'll do this one.
Okay.
The Wolf Deaf says, "Dear Nessie, Smack, and Boxy, about the Discord phone applicant, you can just use the email. Love the podcast. Thanks, the Wolf Dev. I don't know if this is to do with phone verification. Are they saying we could use email verification instead of phone verification?
Yeah, I think so.
Anybody, I can set up 10 email addresses in the next 10 seconds and verify every single one of them. I think having a phone verification is a much more secure way of doing it than an email verification. So I'm really sorry, the Wolf Dev, but I don't agree with you there. But thank you. I'm glad you love the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. O2 says, "Hello, Foxy, Jessiie, and Slack. I just wanted to say that, in my opinion, you handled a very hard and sensitive topic of Technoblade's passing really well. And also, you brought up good points that I didn't think about. It's definitely not an easy topic to discuss, but you all did it greatly. Oh, and I'm also Team Foxy Law. Hooray! I've been listening to these podcasts and trying to catch up because I've missed so many episodes. Keep up the great work and take care. Best regards, Dr. O2. Well, thank you very much, Dr. O2. I really appreciate that. And yeah, it means a lot. Sorry, I completely butchered. Well, you don't know I butchered it because I edited it, you see. But I totally messed that one up like 12 times in 3 different places.
It's okay. I am glad that some people thought that we handled that well, because I personally was a little nervous. But I thought we were respectful, so I'm glad to hear that someone else did it too.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why, although it was a long podcast last week, one of the reasons why it was so late in the edit, because it took me ages, was I was listening to those bits over and over again, just making sure every little intonation wasn't out of place and that we did it. So yeah, it was a tough one. I'm glad we don't have to do it again.
Yes. Big Low 9 says, "Love the podcast, and it is something that I look forward to listening to every week. I would say as well, you talked about how some of your viewers didn't like you guys playing the Java edition, and I enjoy all of your content, whether you are playing Bedrock or Java. I enjoy Minecraft content, and I like to see what the differences there are between the 2 editions. I hope that you can continue to give us great content and keep up the great work." I appreciate comments like that, because I have been getting a random amount of people being like, "Why are you playing on Java?" And I'm like, "What? Why?
Yeah,
it's Minecraft. You'll be fine, I promise."
Not the same. Yeah, no, thank you, Big Low. That's really nice to hear. So I wish everybody shared the same sentiments as that. But at the end of the day, people like what they like, and if they want to watch Bedrock Edition only, then that's fine. At the end of the day, we put out content for people. If they don't like some of the stuff we put out, then that's totally fine. It's not a problem. Okay, Jessiie, I'll let you get this last one.
Okay, Lord Gavatron says, "Having Zoidberg." Wow,
is that you? Is that supposed to be you?
Yes.
Why are you Zoidberg? When I read this, I was like, "Why are you Zoidberg?" I thought it was you.
Hold on. So let me read it, and then I will explain.
Okay.
Having Zoidberg read my feedback and the ensuing giggle fits has now caused me to get targeted advertising for dolphin food. This targeted advertising is getting out of hand. Very much enjoyed being so publicly humiliated. Love the podcast. 10 out of 10. Okay. Yes. So hold on. Actually, we'll give you we'll give you a little bit of insight as to why I am Zoidberg, right? This all leads back to one Ricky. Ricky, our newest member, who we love and adore. Ricky, he clipped something, right? He clipped me making sounds, and now it is everywhere, and everyone has now started calling me Zoidberg because of this. I'm going to let you watch this clip.
Okay.
All right? Just take a second. Appreciate it.
I'm going to have to slide this into the podcast, but okay, I'm going to listen to it.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Amazing. Yeah.
It turns out I do that all the time.
Really?
Like literally all the time. And no one has ever said anything.
Do you scuttle sideways while you're doing it?
No, I don't. I run away.
Okay. Well, similar sort of thing.
But yeah, so
amazing.
So that is me. I make lots of funny sounds when I am streaming, apparently, and people like our favorite new member. Yeah, clip it all the time now. So
I really want to see a Jessiie B funny noise montage. If anyone could go back through Jessiie B's VODs and just get all the funny sounds and put them in a just a loop, that's fine. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, there would be lots of random like squeaking. I squeak a lot. Yeah. But yeah, that is where Zoidberg came from.
Amazing. Absolutely fantastic. Well, unfortunately, though, that is the end of today's feedback. If you would like to see I always thought you were GLaDOS from Thingy. So for me, you've been Meg and GLaDOS from Portal, because I can't remember what it was you said that one time, but then I did your voice in that way, didn't I?
Yep.
Was that an episode?
It was. There was an episode.
Yeah. And now you're Zoidberg. You're all the TV characters. Who knew it? Everyone thinks Foxy's the one with all the characters. It's not. It's Jessiie B. Jeez. Anyway, if you would like to leave feedback, then send an email to news@theminecraftupdate.com. Don't forget to put feedback in your subject line, or fill out the online form, or join the Discord and stick it all on there, because all of the links are in the description below. Now, Jessiie B, there was a piece of feedback that doesn't appear to have been in the feedback. Maybe I've stuck it in the wrong thing. It was. I'm pretty sure it was from Zet. There it goes. Oh, it was. They put it in the questions one. So I'm gonna read that now and take it out of the questions. And it was, Jessiie keeps falling asleep during the news section. Maybe have her read the news section next time. So Jessiie, it's on you, buddy. You got this.
No.
We don't want you falling asleep.
That isn't Zeta, what is wrong with you? I don't fall asleep. I'm not interested.
Wow.
No.
Well, maybe you'd be more interested if you read it. So off you go.
Oh my goodness. What am I even reading? Let's see. Am I just reading the actual new features? What do you want me to do?
What do I normally do? I don't know, because I just tune out at that point.
I'm not going to confirm nor deny that. So the 1.19.10, is that how you pronounce it? Just 1.19.10?
Yes.
It's now available for Minecraft, featuring the Allay duplication, locate biome command, capabilities, and swath. What is swath? What is a swath? What is that word?
I think it's supposed to be a swathe of new improvements.
Oh, but that's not how you would spell swathe, is it?
No.
Swath. Yeah.
Maybe swath is the right word. I don't know. It doesn't sound right to me. But who knows?
It doesn't either.
So what's involved with this Allay duplication, Jessiie? I'm really excited to hear all the new things that we can do in 1.19.10. I'm keen on listening to this news.
You're so terrible. I don't like any of you. So we have new Allay duplication features. When an Allay hears a jukebox playing, it will do a dance animation.
That's amazing. What type of dance does it do?
It like jiggles.
Really?
Yeah, it jiggles. It's really cute.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it do anything else?
Sure. I don't know. If the jukebox stops playing, or if the Allay gets too far away from the jukebox, it will stop dancing. So you need to make sure that they are near it all the time.
Right, that's it. We need jukeboxes on wheels update. We don't want the Allays getting away from the jukeboxes. We need jukeboxes to follow the Allays around. It's the only way.
Yeah,
we don't want to see them stop dancing.
And I know you're curious how you duplicate them, right?
It's like with an echo shard, isn't it? It's got to be. It's the only way. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
You would think so. But no, what you do is you give them an amethyst shard while it's dancing. Very specifically, has to be dancing. While it's dancing, you throw it. You just go chuck it amethyst shard, and it will play a small amethyst sounds and make a heart. And there you go. You duplicate yourself another allay.
So if I see an allay dancing, all I have to do is throw an amethyst shard and that'll work, will it?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Yeah, you don't just click on the allay with it. You just throw it.
Nope.
Do you? Press Q.
Yeah, that's what it says. Yep.
Right. Okay.
Chuck it.
Right.
I don't think so. I think you actually have to click it. But anyway,
is there any limitations to this duplication, Jessie? Can I just do it as much as I want whenever I want?
No, of course not. There's a 5-minute cooldown.
Oh man, 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Both allays will have it. Both. So you can't like click one and then do it to a different one. Nope. Definitely 5 minutes for both.
Well, that sucks. Jeez.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? So we won't have just a world full of allays nonstop.
That's really annoying. Jeez. Okay, well, I'm really interested to know about commands, Jessie. Is there any changes to the locate command at all in this changelog?
There are. It's so funny that you mentioned that. In this update, we have they've expanded, right? The locate command.
So they put more E's at the end of it, so you have to spell it differently. Is that how they've expanded it?
Yes. I'm so glad you're so on top of this. Yeah, it's locate. So there's like 3 E's.
Wow.
It's like not just one extra one, 3 of them.
Okay. Brilliant. I'm really glad you read the changelogs ahead of time, Jessie. This is excellent news. Good. Excellent.
I don't like you. But yeah, so you can now locate structures and biomes. And this is all for Bedrock, right? Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. I probably should have looked at that beforehand.
Wow. Yeah, it is.
The trader llama also now has its own spawn egg.
And where does it carry it? Is it in its pouch, in its mouth? Has it got like a new arm or a hand or a stick coming out the side of it?
I think it's in its chest, like the chest on the side of it.
Nice.
Yeah. They've also added the player's cause of death to the death screen.
No way.
Yes.
Impossible. Can't be done.
Oh, that reminds me. On TB, you haven't added Jen or Ricky to the death counter.
It's not my fault.
So yeah, it just says that they've never died, and let me tell you, that's not true.
Okay, right. Okay, well, we'll have a TB change log next week. But for now, Jessie, you've got 3 change logs to read this week, and this is probably one of the longest ones in existence. So good luck.
I don't like it. Okay, so the music is now included in the game files in iOS, so players no longer need to download the music pack from the marketplace.
Won't that make the downloads on iOS systems just really inflated and big now and cause players problem if they're downloading it off, like 4G or 3G over the App Store? Isn't it going to affect people's data?
I don't know anything about technical stuff, Foxy. I'm not the right person to ask. I'm just reading.
Okay, well, I just assume it won't then. It'll be fine. I'm sure the game's exactly the same file size. Those 280 megabytes worth of sounds and music is, probably inconsequential to the download size. So that's good news. Excellent. Brilliant.
Yeah. They've also added Bluetooth and mouse keyboard support on iOS.
Nice.
So you don't have to play with your fingers. You can now play with the keyboard.
So what you're saying to me there is...
Weird.
No one on iOS now has an excuse for complaining about touchscreen anymore. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Are they giving away free Bluetooth mice and keyboards with this update?
You know what? You should probably email Mojang and find out, because I think that's something that you should do. You should all just spam Mojang and be like, so now we all need free Bluetooth mouse and keyboard. So,
because they're cheap, right? They're not expensive.
They're so cheap. Everyone should be able to afford that. And if they can't, just Mojang. Get on it.
Step up. Come on. We're counting on you. Okay, nice. Have there been any fixes in this update, or is it just all new stuff?
There have been a bunch of fixes. It looks like we have performance and stability fixes. We have gameplay fixes. We have world gen fixes. We have mob fixes, frog fixes, allay fixes, warden fixes, block fixes, mangrove and mud block fixes. We have skulk block fixes. We have items. We have grid, geographical. We have user interface. We have realms. We have spectator mode. There's so many fixes, and I don't care how much I love you guys. I'm not reading them.
No,
so if you would like to,
I was going to say that's an incredible number of fixes that's been in this update.
Yeah.
So can you just give me a brief summary of all the best ones?
No, I don't know what the best ones are.
You mean you're not prepared for this news segment, Jessie?
No, I did not know I was reading it. No
Have you noticed?
Time.
Normally in our doc, I actually like bullet point all of the interesting things from each one, and I haven't this week.
And you didn't. You didn't. Yeah, I did
purposely
notice
wanted you to struggle.
I did. I was very aware. I saw that and I was like, I know what's coming. I know what's coming. Because mean.
Yeah, to be fair to the listeners and to us and to you, because this is all of the stuff that was in the 1.19.10 betas, we have already covered all of these changes previously. I don't think there's anything new that we haven't gone over before. So if you are interested in a massive, massive, massive number of fixes in this update, then head down to the description below and check out the changelog, because it's ridiculous. Ridiculous, Jessiie.
This is huge.
Gee, so both fixes aside, though, I mean, we don't normally read those anyway, but has there been any technical changes?
There are some technical changes. You go to update add-on template packs. So that apparently is a technical update. So what does that even mean?
They've just updated the download. Like you can download the vanilla resource packs and behavior packs for Minecraft, although they're I don't know why, but they're like really cut down versions of what you actually get in the game files, but you can download them. So they've just updated those 1.19.10.
Well, that's nice of them. They've also updated commands. Commands are cool. And general fixes, like they fixed a crash that would occur if a mob had a flocking component. I don't even know what a flocking component is. So I'm really interested to know about that crash. Do you know any more information about this?
I can't imagine there's anything in Minecraft that flocks. I mean, flocking, birds flock together, don't they?
Yeah.
But what in Minecraft flocks?
I imagine. See, the only thing I can think of is the like when a zombie calls other things, but it's not called flocking. So I don't have.
I'll tell you what, that might be. You know, when if you put a llama on a lead and the other llamas come running over, maybe it's that.
Oh, yeah.
That would make sense considering. Although they've worded it in a really weird way in this changelog, the llama, they haven't just given it a new spawn egg. There's they've created an entirely separate llama entity called the trader llama. So the llamas and the trader llamas are now completely separate entities. And as a result of that, Jessiie, because obviously it's really difficult to copy and paste an entity. The trader llamas now despawn when they go out of distance. So regardless of whether one of the traders wandered off or not, if you go away from him, his llamas disappear. So,
so yeah, that's interesting.
So yeah, there's loads of stuff. Like I say, we've covered all this stuff before. I'm not going to put Jessiie through any more of this one. But what I am going to put her through is the fact that the Minecraft Bedrock Preview 1.19.20.22 has been released. And gee whiz, Jessiie B, oh my goodness, can you believe it? Can you believe all the stuff that's in here? Oh, tell me about it, Jessiie.
So information on this Minecraft preview and beta is it's all a work in progress. They're not stable. So it's unstable releases. They're all just previews, which you already know. It is available on Windows and iOS and Xbox, I believe, right? But is it available on Android?
No, not yet. Well, you can get the beta still on Android.
Okay, so it is the beta. All right, so that's the basic info, right?
Okay.
This one.
Let's get to the nitty gritty. This is all brand new, so I need to know everything.
Okay. So experimental spectator mode has had fixes or bugs, it looks like. So they've removed the emotes function while in spectator mode.
What? I can't emote while I'm invisible in spectator mode now? This sucks.
You cannot. It's a problem. Spectator heads are now properly rendered as semi-transparent, which is cool. That's a cool thing. That is more cool,
actually,
thing,
because
right?
there's very few semi-transparent things in Minecraft. We got slimes, like the outer side of a slime, honey blocks, slime blocks, and that's about it. Most things are solid or see-through. There's not many things that are semi-transparent, so that's good that they've allowed that functionality to be on a player. I wonder if that's something we'll be able to fiddle with in add-ons now. Anyway.
That would be fun.
Sorry.
And along with that one comes that the head items, so hats, hoods, helmets, anything like that, are now also semi-transparent, because I guess before you would have like a transparent head, but like if you had whatever on your head, it was still there, which is kind of funny. Capes and animated back items no longer render while in spectator mode. I guess that just, I would have figured that if it's only a floating head, but okay.
Yeah, well, I don't even know why it's got a hat on.
Right?
No, it says hats, hoods, and helmets, etc. What's a hood and what's etc.? Since when do you get a hood in Minecraft?
Well, you can in the character creator.
Yeah, like, but that's just your skin, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's what it's saying is you, like, if you have a skin that has them.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Yeah, it does specifically say their character creator. Sorry, I dozed off while you were talking because it's the news and I wasn't listening properly. Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Spectators can no longer use or get affected by portals. Ew, you can't use a portal?
I know. That struck me as really bizarre because if you're in spectator mode, well, why can't you travel to different dimensions?
Yeah, that I don't like. That one is a thumbs down. You would use the portals all the time. Like, what if you wanted to go to the Nether to follow your person, or if you're playing in hardcore and you're following a teammate, whatever. Like, you use portals. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't like it.
No, the thing is, oh man, it's just one of these it's half-baked feature that they're removing stuff that we need until it's finished. Because I think this is a parity thing, because I'm assuming in Java Edition you probably can't go through portals as a spectator. But on Java Edition you can TP to any other player. Oh.
Yeah, that's what it is. You can TP to the other dimensions.
Yeah, and you can TP to another dimension. So you can actually you can execute commands in another dimension. We can't do any of that on Bedrock. So we need to be able to go to other dimensions. Otherwise, if you're doing spectator stuff, you got to go back into survival or creative, go through. And it's not like we've got a handy little switcheroo like they've got on Java Edition to just bring it up and do it. We've got to type it all in the commands. And oh no, you haven't got cheats enabled. It's what a short-sighted decision to make. What a bug to fix before you finish doing everything else. Oh man, I don't like it. Fix it. Revert.
So the next one is the allays. So an allay can now pick up and drop items at their owner when in a boat. So
does that mean they can row?
I don't think they get in the boat. I think it's saying, wait.
Oh, when the owner's in a boat.
Yeah, when the owner's in a boat. That's how I read it. So that would make sense, I suppose. Allay can now always pick up drop scaffolding blocks. Could they not before?
I assume not, but that is actually quite a good one, because when you break scaffolding, it goes everywhere. So that's like the one use for an allay that I actually think is worth having. So yeah, that's good.
They can now correctly stop dancing when music from jukebox ends. Why would you ever want it to stop dancing? It needs to dance all the time. But that's probably good if you're trying to get it to actually do something. You're like, ooh, I want an allay to be useful, and it's just dancing everywhere. Allays now look at targets such as players. See, these things I didn't know weren't in there.
I don't think an allay needs to, because an allay doesn't have a rotating head. It's a fixed body. The only thing that moves on the allay is its wings and its arms, like the arm position when it's holding something. And I feel that one's a bit bizarre, really, because the whole thing, it's flying, so the whole thing turns. So I don't know, a bit of a weird one.
It's weird. So the next update we have is in blocks. Bells can no longer catch on fire or be destroyed by fire.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah, that
really handy.
Skull catalysts now play the blooming sound effect when blooming.
Well, that's convenient.
I am interested to know the differences in the Deep Dark in Java versus Bedrock, because I've only ever really played around in Bedrock, and I like the sounds that they make, but I didn't know we were missing sounds. So
we were always missing sounds on Bedrock.
I should have expected that, but I did not.
Yeah.
Skulk catalysts do not spread skulk anymore on player's death if the keep inventory game rule is set to true. Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense.
Yeah, because you could make a mob-free, like, XP, infinite XP farm just by making a death loop chamber and next to a skull catalyst. So I guess, yeah, that's probably a good thing.
Skulk catalysts do not get covered in skulk veins anymore if a mob dies on top of them. Good. That's so irritating.
Really?
That, yes. Ugh. Because I think if it has a vein on top of it, it doesn't spread anymore. Or at least
really?
It spreads slowly because there's something on top of it, which is then getting in the way of whatever. I was actually running into that problem when I was doing my basement area of my base. Anytime there was a vein on top of the catalyst, it would basically stop working. So I had to go break it and then keep fighting the mobs. So yeah, I actually really, really like that one. Commands have been updated, improved the performance of the locate biome command to mitigate stalls on the server while searching for a biome that is far away.
We had a similar one to that a couple of updates ago. I don't know if it was locate biome or locate something or other that they'd fiddled with to stop it, affecting servers. So I'm hoping that's a good thing rather than they've just added limitations to the command.
I don't ever really do the locate biome thing, so I've never noticed, but I imagine that would get annoying.
Yeah.
If there was like a big stall or delay. Let's see. The deep dark. The ancient cities are in the ancient cities. The secret door that leads to the redstone room in the center of the ancient city now opens and closes properly. I feel like if you make a redstone room that is supposed to be like the feature, right? Like it's a cool
tutorial for how to use redstone. Yeah.
And your redstone doesn't work.
This is the third iteration of it, Jessie. The first one was the carbon copy of the Java one, and the door just opened and closed constantly. Then they, in inverted commas, fixed it, which meant that the door didn't work anymore. So they probably just went in and broke a piece of redstone just to stop from opening and closing. Yeah. And now, well, let's fingers crossed, the redstone door works.
Let's hope so, right? I don't know what EDU is. What is EDU?
Education. I won't worry about that one because it doesn't make any sense to us and probably isn't relevant to most people.
Okay. So then the Fireball entity modified the JSON entity file that it also contains projectile damage in addition to the explosion and fire damage. Ooh, so now a gas blast is even more deadly? Is that what I am hearing?
Gas blasts now do 3 different types of damage. They'll do projectile, explosion, and fire damage to you. So I don't know if that means it's necessarily going to hurt a great deal more, but it does mean that you're going to need a more varied armor if you're coming across that a lot, I guess.
That does not sound fun. I don't like the nether, so I'll just avoid it.
Okay.
Gameplay. Fixed X-ray vision when top snow falls on the top of a player. So it now behaves as a solid block when the top snow covers player's vision. So there was a glitch that you could X-ray around you if your head was in snow.
Yeah.
Is that what that means?
That's exactly right. Yeah. If there's some top snow on a block and you stand underneath it and break the top block above you and the top snow covers your eye line, then you can see through it. And bear in mind, these are not in the update now. These are coming in the next hotfix. So right now, if you want to do X-ray, you can do it in that way. Not that I'm recommending it, but yeah, that exists at the minute.
Did not know that.
No.
A general fix is they fixed the add server feature, not saving IPv6 addresses. I imagine that is very useful to people. I have no idea what that means. Items. Lava buckets will no longer disappear when failing to be placed or dispensed into partial blocks.
Good. About time. Good.
Yeah, that one has been annoying forever.
And this next one is very important to me.
Okay. Items with the item lock component can no longer be placed in item frames or armor stands. So what would that be? What is an example of an item lock component?
You know my camera mod update where you've got unique items to do it, although no one can fly. Hello? Have you gone again?
Sorry. I said yes. I probably wasn't very close to the mic. Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Well, they've got item locks on, which means you can't necessarily, you can't lift them and move them out of your inventory, but you, for some reason, can still put them in item frames and give them to armor stands, which is really annoying. And this is something used a lot by map makers or people doing anything with adventure mode. It's really annoying that players in adventure mode are able to do this, because you're like, no, I need you to keep that item in order to progress to the next area. And if you manage to lose it somehow, it's a problem. So, because obviously if you've given it to an item frame and you're in adventure mode, you can't get it back again. So yeah, it's really handy, that one. And what I'd really like them to do is make it so when you're in adventure mode, you can't break paintings, because that's also really annoying.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that is one that is absolutely frustrating. Not gonna lie.
As soon as we get into any mini game with on Oliver's iPad and we're playing together, the first thing he does is just go smash up all the instructions to everything because it's all paintings. You're like, I don't know how it works now.
You're like, well, that was a narrow-sighted.
Yeah.
Let's see, where was I? Oh, right there. Fixed an issue where some items with durability would fail to be created from the creative inventory.
Good.
Wait, what?
Yes.
The issue where some items with durability would fail to be created. You can grab an item that has durability.
Not that I'm aware of from the creative inventory. So don't get that one at all. Doesn't make any sense. But I'm sure that's just going over our heads.
Implemented new marketplace error screen art and messaging.
Fantastic. That's actually a good one, because one of the things that annoys me a lot, not just about Minecraft, but about a lot of software, although Minecraft is really irritating, is when you get an error, it'll be like an error code. And you're like, well, what does that mean? And then you got to Google it, and then you look at the code, and it's like, plain as day, there's the answer to the code. Just put that in the games. Tell us what the problem is, so that we've got at least some clue of what we're doing wrong, or, you know, if we do have to contact somebody, what we're looking for. But Minecraft ones have always been like, oh, error code dolphin, error code pufferfish. Why? Just tell us what the problem is. I don't need an error code. I need to know what the problem is. If it's I'm pressing the wrong button, or the servers are down or something, do I need to try later, or do I need to contact support?
Yeah.
It's so annoying. So yeah, I'm hoping that messaging isn't just a fancy way of saying error code pufferfish, and it's actually, error code pufferfish, you've managed to plug your USB socket in the wrong hole or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
There have also been mobile control fixes. So they fixed an issue where players were not able to hover over the UI elements instead of scroll view if a portion of it fell outside of the view when using a mouse and keyboard in iOS. This was a result of the scroll view auto-focusing onto the nearest non-clippable element, or clipped element. I don't ever play with mobile controls, so I don't know what any of these mean. But I mean, mobile controls in general, apparently, according to so many people on our podcast, a lot of people here, even that are listening right now, use mobile controls. So there you go. I hope that is a very good thing for you guys. They also fixed a crash that could occur when connected devices like gamepads were missing. So hopefully another, what is it called?
Another win for the mobile peeps.
Yeah, like a quality of life update.
I think that's more than quality of life. If your iPad's just crashing because the gamepad you used last time isn't there anymore. Jeez. But definitely that's good.
That would be frustrating. So we've also got mob updates. Really? Not you two. It's fine. Jeez, making me laugh. So mobs. Allays and bees no longer get stuck on non-full blocks. That's amazing. Fish do not shake anymore when placed in an isolated water block.
No more shaky fish.
No more shaky fish. Fixed a bug that caused wolves to spawn red when summoned with Entity Born or Tame Event. I've never run across that one.
I actually came across that one in the Mr. Onion video, because obviously all the entities I was making, I needed to give them no AI. And when I wanted the wolf in some of the pictures, I wanted it to be tame so I could sit it down. However, when I spawned it in as tame, the whole dog, so basically the dogs have a color system for the collar.
1 second.
Yeah?
at one point in here, you're gonna see static, but it's gone again. So yeah, my thing is anyway.
It's gonna be fun tomorrow.
Yep. No red. Well, yeah, this is going to be a mess, and I feel so sorry for you.
All right.
Are you sure you want me on the podcast?
Feedback was Sita said, Jessie doesn't do much of the editing for the podcast.
No,
Maybe she could edit the podcast this week.
That was not said. What is going on? Well, that's good that you know what it is. That the wolf thing. I was paying attention, I swear. They also fixed an issue where enchantments on ranged weapons on mobs are not being applied. So that's cool because I use a bow all the time.
No. The enchantments on ranged weapons on mobs were not being applied. So I think that means if a skeleton's got a fire aspect sword,
so I'm gonna die.
Well, not skeleton, zombie. Yeah, I think that means mobs are going to be more powerful that have got enchanted weapons now.
If they could not, that would be great. I'd be greatly happy if that were the case. Where am I now?
The witches. This is. I really wanted Slack for this one because it's quite a big one, and I don't really understand it. And I know Slack knows a lot about this stuff, but I think me and you are going to have to get through it.
Okay, so it says fixed a bug that could cause witches to stop spawning. The witch hut structure is now set as a surface spawner for witches. So, does that mean they've made it like a spawner, like a whatchamacallit spawner, or like I don't know what that means.
Okay, so the witch hut is obviously, as always, it will just spawn a witch at a particular location at the witch hut every now and then, or if there's not enough witches in the area or something like that, basically. So that's how you make a witch farm. And you've got two types of spawning systems on Bedrock. You've got surface spawns, which is when a mob will spawn with nothing above its head, so or basically glass, a transparent block. And you've got cave spawns, which is when they'll spawn with a solid block above their head. And you've got different density caps, basically different numbers of mobs that can spawn as surface spawns and different numbers of mobs that can spawn as cave spawns. So if now structure spawns, something that spawns at a structure generally tends to not really worry too much about those density caps. But the fact that they've changed it from, it sounds like they've changed it from a like a cave spawn to a surface spawn, and makes me think if it's a surface spawn and they're spawning in the witch hut, then they're spawning under a solid block. So I don't. This is why I needed Slack.
Don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, is that going to affect the number of witches we're going to get? Is that going to give us more? Is it going to give us less? Is it going to make it harder to actually make a witch farm around it if we can't have solid blocks above their heads? I don't know. It's kind of weird. So maybe the reason it had stopped, they would stop spawning, is because the density cap for cave spawn mobs would fill, and so they've changed it to surface spawn so that that's not an issue anymore. I really don't know. I'm not sure. If anyone in the listening knows anything about that and can help us out with that, I'd really appreciate some input on that one.
Yeah, that would be interesting to find out for sure.
Going forward in the news, and I'm sure you'll be happy to hear this, Jessie. I'm not going to make you sit through the rest of it because we got a whole bunch of stuff for Java as well, and there's a lot of stuff. There's not much else in this one other than the fact that the Ender Dragon can't destroy Crying Obsidian, respawn anchors, light blocks, deny blocks, allow blocks, border blocks, and jigsaw blocks now. So I guess that's useful. And the Skulk sensor will no longer detect boats laying or staying still in water. So there's a bunch of technical changes. There's a few other bits and bobs here. There's some stability and performance stuff. But other than that, I think Jessie's done a very, very good job of going through all of the changes, reading it word for word. Well done, Jessie. A round of applause for everybody in the chat. Everybody. Oh, yes.
That was mean.
What a good job. What a good job you did. Now,
you'll be happy to know I figured out what the issue was.
Oh, good. What was the issue?
I did indeed have it recording using the wrong mic.
Oh, good. Excellent. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. So good.
I mean,
now it's all
might
perfect.
Just use your Discord audio at this point. We'll see how we get on. It'll be fine. At least you've solved that problem. You probably not solve the problem of it just cutting out altogether from time to time, but one step at a time. Speaking of one step at a time, our last step of the news, was that a good segue, Jessie?
It was beautiful.
Excellent.
I was impressed.
Is for me to do, and that is the Minecraft Java Edition 1.19.1 pre-release 4. And my goodness me, if you thought Jessie's change logs were long, then gee whiz, hold on to your seats. You're in for nothing. They've done a couple more chat message things, and it seems like this pre-release, the delay for 1.19.1 seems really hung up on these chat issues. And I think at this point it feels like they're purposely delaying this while waiting on feedback, because there was such a massive backlash for the chat thing.
Yeah.
Because these changes they're making, I mean, what's the point in putting out an update for like 3 things? It doesn't make sense. You might as well just stick all of those things in the release candidate, So I think they're waiting on more and more people coming back from stuff that's in these pre-releases to come back. And obviously that's going to be slow coming because not many people play the pre-releases. The ones that do probably aren't too fussed about all of this chat stuff, so it's probably difficult for them to get feedback on this. So it does really feel like they've got the brakes on with the 1.90.1 update until they've got some more, more feedback, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the news over, Jessiie B. You'll be glad to know. All finished.
I'm so happy. Never again. Never doing that again. Okay. So.
Well, there you go, Zeta. Jessiie B has put her hands up and said, "I'm not doing it, bro. Not doing it,
bruh."
No. Right. Okay, Jessie. We're going into the bug date. What has been bugging you this week, other than having to read the news, of course?
I have had one that has been really frustrating to me. I have been taking random damage all the time. It is so much worse. I don't know what happened, but I'll land on something, right? And nothing will happen. No damage, no nothing. Literally minutes later, while I am talking to chat while streaming, all of a sudden it's ton of damage. And I'm like, what happened?
More than half a heart?
Way more than half a heart.
Wow.
And it's delayed from me landing, or I don't know what, but just random damage. I was terraforming and I wasn't even doing anything. I wasn't jumping. I wasn't anything. I was just terraforming, and all of a sudden random damage. I thought I must have been hit by something, but there were no mobs around. There was no nothing. I literally just took damage, and I was like, I don't understand what's happening. So yeah, I've been having a lot of random damage for no reason.
I'm assuming this is Bedrock Edition and not Java Edition.
Yeah.
And is this primarily on Truly Bedrock?
Yep.
So we're talking servers. We're also talking pre 1.19.10 update because we've not updated yet. So interesting. Yeah, that's not very good. I wonder if it's a ping thing.
Brilliant. I mean, probably. No, knowing me and the fact that I can't even use the camera mod, I would imagine it has something to do with my ping.
I don't really have any bugs because I haven't really been playing any Minecraft as such. Man, there was a couple of things that popped up in the Java thing that we were doing on the Truly Bedrock, not Truly Bedrock, me and Mitts playing hardcore on Java Edition. There was a couple of bugs that came up in that the last couple of streams we did, but I can't remember those. The only 2 notable ones for me this week have been when I was doing the Mr. Onion video. Obviously, the dogs spawning in red, which has been fixed now, thankfully. And the other thing was that, and this has affected my mob heads and mini blocks packs from the start, but when you put an entity that doesn't have gravity or collisions into, or just even if it does have gravity or collisions into water, they just sink for no reason. And it's really annoying because
that's weird.
Yeah. So I was doing this stuff and I was doing the water sports section and I wanted them to be swimming. I wanted to have some of them swimming underwater and stuff. And I was editing the files, trying to get it to work. But even when I gave them full gravity or took gravity off, I gave the collisions, either they just sink and clip through the world and disappear, or they just sink to the bottom, and it's just stop it. So yeah, that was frustrating. I could understand if it's flowing water, but if it's just solid water, Like,
it just doesn't make any sense. That isn't one where you can even kind of pretend that there's logic. You know, where sometimes something happens in Minecraft and you're like, I guess I get it. Maybe.
Yeah.
This one's you're just like, no. Why?
Exactly. Right. Well, that's enough from ours, but we do have a couple of community bug date. One's from the Discord. Plod says, it seems Mojang have overdone their fix for the issue where wandering traders didn't despawn. Now they despawn too well, even when the wandering trader still has them on a lead. So if you or the trader wander far enough away from each other, it's bye-bye llamas. And the bug report that they've says basically to reproduce, find the wandering trader with at least one llama. Move far away. I went up to 200 blocks out. This is probably unnecessary. Move back to the trader. Expected. Trader is still there with llamas on leads. Actual llamas are gone. Lead floating on the ground. So
free leads.
Free leads. And I'm glad that there's going to be less llamas kicking about, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But it would be nice if they could actually get the wandering trader right one day. I mean, how long has the wandering trader been in the game now?
Oh my goodness. Were they added in with the aquatic update, or were they better together?
Was it? No, not one. It was a village. Yeah, it was village and pillage, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
So is that 114 ish? Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I honestly, it's bizarre that a mechanic like that. I know the mechanic, the wandering trader is not that common, and no one really likes it. But when it's something as involved and deeply integrated into the game as that's the sort of thing that should be like higher priority to fix, surely.
Yeah.
And it's been broken for years, and it's still not right. They've even gone, we're having problems getting these llamas to despawn, so we'll just give them the whole new entity with a whole new set of rules, and then still get it wrong.
And still get it wrong, yeah, exactly.
Jeez, come on. Someone else fell asleep during the news, whoever it was at Mojang working on llamas. Wow.
They're just like, it's good enough. It's fine.
Jeez, oh man. Unfortunately, peeps, that's the end of the bug date. But fortunately, that brings us to the wish list. And we've got a couple of amazing things that we would like in Minecraft. That hang on a minute before I go into that, if you want to leave us a bug, then fill in the stuff and do the emails. Okay, anyway, wish list. We've been on the Minecraft feedback website and picked out a couple of things we want to see added to Minecraft. Jessie's is cats being able to fish. What?
I think it would be so cute.
A little cat in a boat with a hat on and a fishing rod, with little paws up on the front of the boat, chilling out, drinking a cat beer.
That would be adorable. But no, I mean, cats should be able to fish. They could be able to get better things than fishing with a rod. It would give cats more features and make them more important than just scaring away creepers. Cats are very underrated in Minecraft, except for being cute. So that's what they have to say. My thinking, right? I don't want them to have necessarily
just imagine
better
a cat
stuff.
in a little scuba suit, like.
I was thinking more like they could just go over into the water and just like get a fish.
Cats hate water.
It doesn't matter. They can fish. I've
seen cats. I mean, I even had one when we used to have a fish tank trying to get the fish out of the fish tank. Yeah. But as soon as it's got its paw in, it was like, there's got water in there.
I think it would be adorable just to like have a little river and like have your cat just go over there and yank a fish out for you.
Would it do it from the edge? Like, would it sit on the edge and put its paws in, or would it literally jump in and go swimming for fishes?
I don't think it would go in swimming for fishes. I think like it would just like try to slap one over the edge, and then you just like see it flopping about. Kind of like a bear trying to
get salmon.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
I think atmosphere would be cute.
You picked this last minute, didn't you? Let's be honest. You just picked one at random.
I did. I went to a random page and was like, that one. That's the one. And it's cute. I'm okay with it.
No, the only way I want cats being able to fish in Minecraft is if they're sat in a boat with a fishing rod with a little hat on. I want it to look just like Puss in Boots, right?
Oh, that would be adorable.
Just chilling out. Oh, man. And just filling up the chest boat with fish for you. Oh, man. No, I genuinely, I think that's actually a nice idea. It would be nice to have another use for cats. But cats also, if you sleep, they will bring you presents and stuff like that. So I don't think it's needed, but I wouldn't mind it. So I'm not going to put that one in the good ideas bin, Jessie, but if you accidentally
That's fine.
sneak it in there while I'm not looking, I'm not going to take it back out again. Okay?
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
So what was yours?
Mine is that... I can't remember because my page unloaded. There it is. Add some animations for player to make Minecraft better.
What does that mean? What kind of animations?
Well...
Give me...
Oh, just before we go into that, your one had 665 votes, by the way. Mine's got 1,144. And back in the day, when I used to play on Java Edition, there was a mod that I used sometimes, mainly. I never used it for videos, but I used it sometimes, and it was called, I think it was called More Animations or something like that. And when you jumped, the player would do like a somersault. And then when you climbed up ladders, it would do a climbing animation. When you did this, it would do like a forward roll. And I don't want my Minecraft character to suddenly have bendy arms and knees and all that sort of stuff. But we got emotes now, which kind of are like animations. I would love this to be paired in with something like a dodge roll. I'd like to be able to dodge. So I think just having like a step back animation or an actual roll would be cool. Or just like, a climbing animation, a crawling animation for like when you are on your belly in a cave or something like that. Mm-hmm. We've got swimming. Yeah, we got running, we got walking, and we got standing on a spot with our left leg just jiggling about a bit. That's it. So, yeah, I just think a few more animations just to bring the player to life a little bit more would be really nice.
I agree. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. What do you think, Slack?
Well, that seems too simple.
It does. It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. Well, Slack's in, Jessie. Are you in?
Yeah, I'm in. I think that goes in the good ideas bin.
Excellent. This is good news. Exactly where I wanted it to go. That's perfect. Right. Community wish list. Jessie, the length of this document.
I mean, there's only a few. There's like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
right?
but there's so okay. Well,
I know. I see you left me kiwis. I see what you did there. You're getting all slacks.
Yeah. Okay. Zeta says, glad you enjoyed the last idea. So here's another one. I love the new biomes Mojang has added. Went from 10 or 11 to like 50 now. Would be interesting to see Mojang update the villagers and villages for more of them. For example, an underwater village in an ocean biome, or a strange village stuck inside of a lush cave with which raise tropical fish, a small village inside of a giant hollowed out geode, or perhaps a Badlands village with bridges that span across the plateaus. It could make adventuring that much more interesting. Okay, Jessie, thoughts?
I'm so conflicted here. I really like the idea of like specifically a Badlands village. Like that is amazing. But the idea that they're going to make bridges and stuff like that, I don't necessarily want it. I don't know if it's just because I feel like that takes a lot of creativity out of what we do. Like if they give us a game that already has everything, like if we stumble across beautiful villages, that have spanning bridges and all of this stuff, it just, I think, isn't going to make me feel as creative, I guess. But I like the idea of adding more villages in general. I like the idea of having like a lush cave villager. That's cool.
Yeah. I think technically that would be really difficult to do, like actually having bridges that span a naturally generated gap, because the game's got to figure out how wide the gap is, how deep the gap is, where does it put the bridge. I think that's asking a lot. I don't think it'd be impossible. I think it's asking a lot. I'd love to see different varieties of villages, but I think villages are already probably too common. Maybe not too common.
Yeah.
Maybe it's about right. I don't think the world should be too full of structures. And I think the more structures we get, the more full it's getting. And they do seem to they give us ones that are further away, which is nice. But then it's like, oh, well, that's just got to go a long way to find that. But it's about keeping them rare, because the world's supposed to be there for the player to create and to shape and stuff like that. So the villages, you're supposed to go on a journey and find them. But yeah, I would like to see more variations of villages, not necessarily villagers. I don't really care about the different types of villagers. I'd be happy for all of the villagers to be exactly the same and just have different jobs. And yeah, I really couldn't care less about them having different skins, but different types of villages, or just allowing them to spawn in different biomes would be nice. as long as they didn't have more villages. So yeah, but I'm not overly convinced on the underwater one, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think having an underwater one is basically just like the ruined, like the ruins that you see underwater. Like that I could get on board with if there were like actual houses underwater, but like no villagers, because that just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, maybe, you know, because they've already got those ruined like underwater structures.
Mm-hmm.
If there was just like a group of those in places and there was just like, like remnants of an old village, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I could get on board with that. The real dill pick says playing without one player sleep is terrible, but having one player sleep doesn't make sense with the world and its immersion breaking. I think that the vanilla game's answer to one player sleep should be a structure that you build similar to a beacon. In a new vanilla world, beds would set spawn points, but not pass the night. If you build the first tier of the structure, then all people sleeping would skip the night. If it was solo world, then this is as far as you would have to go. Further tiers of the structure would make it so that a smaller percentage of the players have to sleep until only one has to sleep. This would be a team building activity for an SMP and a way to earn one player sleep. I hate this idea.
Yeah, I don't like this idea.
I hate it. I love you, Pick. I like just there's no. No. I'm not a huge fan of telling people how they can and can't play. Like I don't know, like having something like, oh, well, no, you can't skip the night unless you do this, and this. That bugs me. I'm like, no.
I think like if something like this was being introduced, the default is if everyone sleeps or if one person sleeps because it's a one-player world, then the night passes. Yeah?
Yeah.
That has to be, that has to stay the staple. Well, carry on, Jessie.
Oh, no, but I like the idea of needing to do stuff as a group, like in an SMP. I think it's fun when you have a common goal. In the beginning, I think some of my favorite episodes on TB are actually when we used to do the episode zeros. Episode zeros were my favorite. I loved getting in little groups and just hanging out and having some random goal. Like that was fun. I like those. If I had to do that to go to bed, I would be really irritated. But I think something like that could make a fun like mini game or like a map, like something like that would be a fun, just like one-off experience. I don't want it in my vanilla game though.
I think it would be great for like a patron world or just a normal multiplayer thing, maybe with you and a few friends. From content creation point of view, I think it's awful. But from just playing the game, having something that you have to, like a structure that you have to do or a beacon that you have to create to allow like one player sleep or a percentage sleep, I don't think it's an overall bad idea. And I wouldn't mind that for those scenarios because I think that would be fun. Or if maybe if you wanted to have one player sleep, that one player had to go near a beacon or near this thing in order to activate it rather than it just being worldwide. I think that could be interesting and it might make the system more fair. But I really don't like the idea that your bed is just not a bed anymore. So I think it would need, by default, regardless of what structure you have or haven't built, if you are in single player world or if you're the only player in the world and you go to bed, you sleep. Or if all the players are in the world and they sleep, then passes the night. I think that has to stay. But yeah, I wouldn't mind going, oh, okay, well, we've instead of got one player sleep works as normal. But if we build this beacon out of this or we put this thing into it instead or we pick this option from the beacon, then as long as someone's loading that beacon, then one person can pass the night. I don't know. I don't think that would be a big problem. But I don't think it's that necessary, to be honest, Pickles. I'm really hoping that the percentage sleep system will come to Bedrock at some point so it's actually a vanilla option. But if not, there's always my one-player sleep add-on.
Very true.
Or you can use
it works wonderfully.
Either way. Right. Zeta says, new Foxy add-on adding mermaids to Minecraft. They has just reskinned villagers in an ocean village. So back to the original, the one that they suggested earlier. Now I've got to make mermaids to go into it as well. I don't know. I don't think. No, I don't want any more humanoid things in Minecraft. In Minecraft, what I don't want anything that's not a monster. In fact, I just want everything to be fantasy. I don't want pigs and cows and things like that. I want things that are completely unique that don't have any correlation to the real world in Minecraft. I don't want villagers. I want something else. Because there's so much now of, we can't do this because if you feed a firefly to a frog, all the frogs in the world will explode, or you've got to have awareness for polar bears so they can't drop any. No, just forget it. Don't put them in the game. Give us fantasy stuff and then we do what we want. You know, you've got no creative limits if you're putting fantasy stuff in the game. As soon as you start to replicate something outside of the game, there's somebody's going to put their hand up and go, no, you can't do that. So, no, sorry. No, well, I suppose mermaids are fantasy, but it's too humanoid for me. So, sorry.
I want fantasy, but no mermaids.
No mermaids. I don't know. Maybe, I don't want to see any more humans other than the players.
No, I get it. Yeah. I agree. So unicorn add-on win?
Yeah, unicorn's fine. I love unicorns. That's fine.
Woo.
Yeah. Okay. Cal wants pizza. So do I. Oh, goodness. Oh, yes. Yes, please. Okay, the talk on the latest episode about smaller updates specific to Bedrock, the sound update. The first time I played on Java Edition, I was blown away with how much more immersive the game sounds are.
Yeah.
That's because the game sounds work on Java Edition. Yeah, Bedrock's it's not had a good history with with sounds and music and playing them at the right time in the right place. I don't know if it's a game engine issue or it's just, development problems, or maybe it's just one of those things that's been overlooked and not really thought about or not really considered because it's not game breaking. It kind of works. I don't know. Maybe yeah. Playing on Java Edition is by far a more immersive experience. And as much as I always say I do prefer Bedrock Edition, when it comes to stuff like that, it
makes a difference.
You're in the game in Java Edition. On Bedrock, you're playing the game, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you got anything to say on that one, Jessie?
I agree. Okay. I think that as much as I love Bedrock, I agree that it just you're definitely in a different kind of experience when you go on Java when it comes to sounds. So I would like sound parity. I think that would be brilliant.
It would. But think of all the poor iOS people that have to download all of those extra sounds, Jessie. It's just not fair. Just going back to that, I can understand that from if the sound effects are with the download, fine, because pretty much everybody plays with sound.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe iOS players do play with music. Maybe everybody plays with music apart from us content creators. But I think that as an optional extra is fine for music because you don't need the music. You don't know. I mean, I always turn it off. I would like to play with it, but I probably wouldn't bother. Jeez. What you owe my goodness in it.
I'm just looking at my...
Well, I was just thinking about this. Seeing though it's so long, why don't we take it in turns on paragraphs?
I mean, I don't mind reading it all. It's not a big deal. It's just... It's huge. So
I'm ready.
Let's get into this.
Okay. Kiwi.
Kiwi says, so as a player that comes from a try-hard PvP server and recently is getting into survival a lot more, I have a lot of opinions about the potential new combat parity updates Mojang's been testing for a while. I understand you all don't play the sweaty competitive Minecraft as much, but try to stick with me. When playing games like Sky Wars, Duels, and anything like that on the minigame server, I 100% prefer the spam clicky mechanic of fast-paced PvP as in the current Bedrock and Java 1.8. In my opinion, it provides more of a challenge and has more potential for a wider skill gap. And in general, it's the skill gap that drives players to improve their skills and try harder to get better. However, more recently, when playing in the more traditional Minecraft settings, such as survival, multiplayer realm, or even single player, I found I much prefer the combat mechanics with cooldowns and sweeping edge and much nicer sound effects. For me, at least, it feels a lot more realistic or as if it fits better in the survival style game. I've had my experience playing with editing and uploading both styles of gameplay, and in my opinion, they just work better and are more interesting to both player and watch that way Bedrock or 1.18 for minigames and the newest Java versions for survival. So to solve this, I feel like if they ever update the combat system, instead of trying to shove both mechanics together, they should make it so you can choose which system you want to use as you create the world, server, and realm. Not really sure how the logistics of this would work, but they refuse to give us an official launcher that actually works. So it's the next best thing. What do you guys think? Kiwi. P.S. Foxy, if this is too much of a dictionary to read on the pod, feel free to cut it down. Also, I just wanted to say I'm loving the podcast and listening to it every Saturday as I do work around the house. Thanks for your many hours devoted to making it as polished as it is.
Many hours this week, Jessie.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
If I get it done before Oliver's Sports Day, I'll be really happy. Jeez. Might be out on Wednesday next week, this podcast.
My bad. My bad, guys. So as far as this goes, I have to say I disagree. I disagree that spam clicking makes PvP more challenging or it's like it ups your skill in any way, because in any game you spam click, there's no talent behind that. You just, whoever can click faster is better. And I can't stand spam clicking. I've never liked it. I've never liked the mechanic on Bedrock. I like having to be good at something, right? Like I like in Java that you have to try to get critical hits. You have to try to block. You have to try to do all this stuff. Like it makes for a more skilled version of the game to me. I think though that since I am not a PvP player and I've done UHCs and all that and I love them. I think they're a lot of fun. I do see how people would get really irritated if they remove spam clicking, but I hope if one does go, it's the spam click. Like I would much prefer to keep something like Java's system over spam clicking, in my personal opinion.
Oh, geez. I don't agree with you, Jessie, but I don't necessarily agree with Kiwi either. The spam clicking is a problem in a lot of ways, particularly on servers, because of lag and also because of auto clickers. Because on Bedrock, there is literally there's no limit to how fast you can spam click. I used to use an auto clicker just to kill mobs in game because I was sick of just having to keep clicking on the button to swipe it. And you could do it ridiculously fast. So it's very easy to cheat that system, whereas the cooldown system is much harder to cheat. However, I absolutely hate the cooldown system. I really don't like it. I hate having to wait. I hate the fact that in a different tool, it's a different speed. It's awful. I wish they'd get rid of it. I would much rather have spam clicking than that awful experience of having to wait for your sword to recharge. What sword in the world has ever needed to recharge before you can hit with it? But this is me coming from a position of when I play shooting games or something like that, you get a choice. You've got a choice of what type of person you are for a start. Are you a tank? Are you agile? Are you a medic? If you got, basically that affects your ability to get around. But you also get a choice of weapons. You get a choice of something that's like a pistol that's low on ammo but really powerful and quite accurate. Or you've got a machine gun that can shoot really, really quickly, but it's not ever so accurate, but it's got a lot of bullets. Or you've got a shotgun which has got a reasonable number of bullets, but it's really powerful up close. And I would probably generally tend to go for something that had a faster fire rate and then sort of work on the accuracy of that if there was a skill tree for the weapons or something like that, so that I knew I had an opportunity to shoot something before I was dead. Yeah. And that's me being not very good at these things. I think if you are good at these things, then you can go around going, yeah, well, I like this mechanic because it works. Well, that's great. I'm not very good at these things. I don't necessarily want spam clicking, but I definitely do not want the other one. And if I was into PvP and I was playing these mini games, I really, really wouldn't want that in it, because I would either click too soon and miss, and then the other person's got the advantage, or I would go in too late, or you know, and that happens to me even like playing Java Edition, going to swipe at a pig. It's amazing how short the reach on a sword is, seemingly on Java Edition, because you don't notice it on Bedrock because you just keep swiping. Whereas in Java, you swiped at that pig and you can practically see your sword go through it, but the pig's still standing there. And then you have to step forward and do it again. And then you're like, oh, I've just done the weakest little hit ever. So you have to wait for it to charge up. Oh, it's awful. It's so bad. And I don't think the little icon on screen, and I know there's two different options. You can have it on your hotbar and you can have it next to the cursor to see like whether it's recharged again. It's not, what's the word? It's not good user interface. It's not, it's not in your face enough. I think there needs to be an alternative or a different selection of weapons or different options. And I think, again, what we said earlier about having an option for a super easy mode, having an option to choose a different combat system depending on what you want in the game, I'm happy with that. It gives people the freedom of choice then.
Yeah, I'm all for having options. I don't mind it. I think that the idea that Kiwi had of when you make a server, being able to like implement whichever one you want, I like that. I think that that's more interesting, especially when it comes to like PvP servers and stuff like that, or hardcore or whatever. I think more options aren't necessarily ever a bad thing. I definitely am a fan of the current combat system. I'm interested to see what they do with it, though. Like, I mean, they've been talking about it for literal years at this point. So whatever, I'm just interested to see what happens next. I'm not one person who's going to be like, well, I'm not going to play the game because it's not how I want it or anything. But yeah, I'm curious to see where it goes.
Yeah, me too. I think they've got a real big job on their hands for that. I mean, if they think they've had issues with the chat system with people giving them bad feedback on that, when they even start touching combat stuff, they know it's going to be an absolute storm.
Oh yeah, a mess.
And what they'll do is they'll be there going, we need to make sure this is absolutely perfect. And they'll be going around the office. They'll be talking to people outside that, are known for keeping their mouths shut, getting all of that feedback. And it's going to be such a closed portion of people that are getting that feedback from. And they're going to create something they think's the best thing in the world. And they're going to be really surprised when everybody else hates it.
Oh, yeah.
And they will, even if it's good, because it's different. So I think they've got an impossible mountain to climb with that one, which is probably why it's taken so long anyway. And they've got to consider it for everybody. It's not just going to be Java Edition. Oh, they've got keyboard and mouse. They've got to consider it for console. They've got to consider it for touchscreen. They've got to consider it for all the different input methods and try and make it as accessible as possible. So I really don't envy them, because I genuinely don't have any ideas of what they could do to make it better than it is for either system. So good luck, Mojang, on that one, but make sure that you are prepared. Put your biggest, toughest skin on when you release that one, and prepare, go into the bunker and just, let a couple of weeks pass before you come back out again. And then don't just make knee-jerk reactions to it when you hear one person that's shouting the loudest saying how bad it is. Listen to everybody. Stick to your guns. If you make a decision, stick to it. If we don't like it, tough. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
You made the decision. You're Mojang. We're not. Okay? Good. Thank you for listening.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Yeah. And that is the end of today's wish list, which means we're going into the Q&A. If you want to ask us a question, then you can email news@theminecraftupdate.com, put question in your subject line, or you can fill out the feedback form on the website, or you can go to the Discord and put it in the questions channel on there, which many people did. And as a result, we've got a number of questions. Not too many, which I'm glad about, because even though we've had probably about 40 minutes of dead space in this podcast because of Jessie's audio, we are pushing 2 hours 20 minutes now. So I'm looking forward to the end. So maybe let's not elaborate too much on these and just do our best to get through them. Starting with Cucumbers, who says, "Hi FJNS. First of all, could you please add a Minecraft suggestions option on the feedback form so people who don't have access to Discord can still have ideas and read for the pub?" I'm just going to address that now. There is an other section on there, so you can put it in there. There is the scope for it already. Don't worry about it. Also, what are your thoughts on the new experimental execute command functionality in 1.19.10? I think they're trying to make it more like the execute command on Java. Jesse, if you're looking through this, I had some cereal for breakfast and my friend's cousin's dad's mum is starting a gaming club for Minecraft. Foxy told me to tell you this. What? Hope this makes it into episode 29. Thanks for the great podcast. What does that mean?
At the end of the podcast, when we were talking about me reading through it, you said, and make sure you tell her what you've had for breakfast and what's going on with your week.
Right, okay.
Remember?
I don't remember that. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, the new execute command, I think that's what they're trying to do, make it more like the one on Java Edition, because the Java Edition one is brilliant and the one on Bedrock sucks. So fingers crossed they managed to do that.
That would be wonderful. We would all be on board with that.
Yes, please.
Alpha Outcast says, thanks for the great Bedrock focused podcast, everyone. My question is, what do you think of the Wither now being able to break obsidian in easy mode? The Wither could previously be used in concrete, wood, cobblestone, basalt, and mud farms. Silent Whisper has a lot of designs. Mojang have said this was a Java parity issue. However, Bedrock doesn't have 100% drops from TNT or TNT duping. I'd be interested to hear what you think. Was it overpowered, or should Bedrock players ask Mojang to reverse the change? You could ask all you want. It's never going to happen.
I don't know. They did it with buttons.
I mean...
Oh, no, Coral fans, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say it was Coral fans. Yeah, that's, you know what? Good point. Maybe I'm just being cynical here. Maybe, yeah. Ask away. I think it is ridiculous that we do not have TNT 100% drops. It to me makes no sense, and the fact that we don't makes a lot of our farms just less efficient. And that it is what it is, right? I just don't think they're gonna revert it. So I don't like the change. Is the simple answer there.
Yeah, again, goes back to what we were saying earlier about they're doing one thing before they've done another one, and they're taking away before they've given anything back. I don't think the Wither should be able to break out of Obsidian in any mode. I've always said that because I think the Wither should be able to be trapped. I think that's, regardless of easy mode, hard mode, or whatever, I think that should be the thing for the Wither. In terms of TNT duping, I don't think either platform should have that. I think that should be taken away from both. But I do think we should have 100% TNT drops. I don't understand why that's not put in. Because even if it's like, and you go, oh, I can't get as many drops from my farm as they've got on Java Edition. It's not about that. It's just about having the, we don't have that avenue to go down to be more technical and to do these fun technical projects. I wouldn't mind building a Wither-based or TNT-based cobblestone farm and thinking, well, 50% of the cobblestone's getting blown up, because I'm still getting 50% of it. I'm still getting more than I probably ever want, and it would still be free. But it kind of makes you not want to do it, because you think, well, I'm not getting the full. What's the point in doing it if I'm not going to get it all? Yeah. So I think that's more of a mental block than anything else. So yeah, I think they should definitely either address TNT or allow the Wither to just not be able to break obsidian. Why would it be able to break obsidian? The Ender Dragon can't break obsidian. Yeah, fly through it, can't break it. So yeah, I would, if you really genuinely feel that that's a problem, then in the nicest way and in a very constructive way, then do get your feedback back to Mojang and try and be a loud voice that they listen to. All right, the Dylan Arts says, are you doing that one?
Are you going to read that one? I was going to say, you don't have me in here, do you? Oh, wait, you have
I skipped you for some reason. Huh.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That's fine. So, yeah, I'll read this one. You read the next one. Okay. It says, the Dylan Arts, Foxy, you have made podcasts with 1, 2, or 3 people now. Is editing for 3 significantly harder than editing for 2? Also, if it's easier to record with more people or alone, I am curious to know, besides my terrible audio issues, is it generally easier to do 2?
No, 2 or 3 doesn't make any difference. Editing for 1 is obviously easier because it's more controlled. You don't have any 2 people talking over each other. You've only got to deal with one person's. I think one of the biggest problems I had with last week, I was actually really disappointed with last week's edit. And even though yours and Slack's audio were great, Slack started off really, really loud. At one point, I even got really like agitated and excited, and he went loud, and then he just went ridiculously quiet. And it was really difficult finding the parts of Slack where he's loud and he's quiet. So what you have to do in that situation is you need an expander and a compressor. So you're bringing down the peaks and you're pushing up the quiet. But when you push up the quiet, you're also pushing up all of the stuff that you don't want to hear. And as a result, we ended up with Slack really loud at the beginning of the podcast and then really quiet at the end of the other one, because I just don't have all the time in the world to just go through, 2.5 hours worth and fix all of that. So when you've got one person's to deal with, you are working at one level, it's really easy to do. And what I try to do is I run all of mine, Jessiie and Slack's audio individually through a loudness, what's it called? It's a loudness matching thing. So basically I set the loudness of what I want them to be, and it will set them to that. So they should audibly all sound the same loudness. However, that is an average. And if you've got one bit that's really loud and one bit that's really quiet, then it's going to throw it off. And that's the problem we had last week, was that Slack's, because he's not really pushing his compressor too much, or he leans back from the microphone too far, whatever the reason is, there's some really significant changes in his. Mine's always overly loud when it goes in anyway. So mine's generally quite easy to deal with because there's not much background noise, because I don't have AC going on and I don't have this and that and the other going on. Jessie's is generally fine, but Jessie's, I don't know what it is about yours, but occasionally yours will just disappear at the tail end of a word. So it's not necessarily a problem editing for 2 or 3 people, because you're just cutting and editing as you would otherwise. It's actually trying to match those audios. And the other thing that's really difficult to do, and something I really struggle with, and I still don't think I'm getting this right, is the EQ. So making everybody sound the same. So it's all right them being the same volume, but if I sound like I'm really like tinny, or there's too much high end, or really deep and there's too much deep, and Slack's the other, then it's just really off-putting hearing one person and then the next, which you expect when you're listening to a podcast to be not perfect. But I try really hard to try and adjust everybody's EQ to try and get them as close to each other as possible. So the more people you've got, the harder it is. But I think editing out the side, if you got 2, 3, 4 people in a podcast, the trick isn't the edit. It's actually making sure you don't do what I constantly do and talk over people. It's allowing people time to speak and remembering to come in, or like noticing when somebody's about to finish speaking or when they've finished speaking, so you can come in without leaving too much of a gap, so that in the edit you're not having to cut out massive gaps, or you're not having to remind people, oh, it's your turn to speak. And that's just something that comes with practice. So when we get guests on eventually, it's gonna be hard, because they're not going to be used to it necessarily unless they're podcasters, and I don't think anybody's ever going to be used to dealing with me talking over them constantly. So yeah, it's not a difficult thing to do for more than one, 2 or 3 people, but it is definitely substantially harder doing it than more than one person. However, recording a podcast with more than one person is much easier, because trying to talk for 2 hours or an hour on your own and create conversation is almost impossible, unless you've got something specifically that you need to talk about and you've got a lot to get off your chest, or you're reading information out that's from another source. It's really difficult to do that. So yeah, it's way easier and loads more fun recording with other people.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that, Jess?
It makes sense to me that it would be roughly the same I can't imagine putting that much effort into it, is what I will say. Like, I don't know how you put up with us, because I think the biggest thing is even just noticing in collabs and stuff is everyone speaks so differently. And when you were saying sometimes mine trails off at the end, or it like disappears, and it's because of the way I speak. I speak with like a slight lisp. So there's a lot of S's at the end of mine, and they're quieter. So editing software typically will cut them out unless I am enunciating every single word and taking the time to talk like a robot. Then I usually will get cut off. And just knowing those things is really interesting.
Speaking of lisps and DSs, there's a few things that I run through yours and Slack's and mine to a certain extent, but you got quite a strong de-esser on your audio track, which basically takes that harshness out of those S's.
Yeah.
Because have you ever turned something down when someone's talking? Like you've turned the volume all the way down, but you can still hear.
Yep.
And it's awful. It's horrible. And when that's louder, that just gets louder as well. So that's just how people talk. It's how it is. But anything you watch on TV or listen to on the radio, they've all got ways of dealing with that sibilant. So Jessiie has a strong one of those on her. Slack sometimes has it on it. But when you put it on Slack's, it makes him sound like he's got a lisp rather than helping. It just actually it destroys his S's too much. So he's got to be really gentle on Slack. And the other one that me and you have more than Slack does is we have put something called a deplosive. So when you're doing your purrs and you buzz into the microphone, me and you are really good at blowing out the microphone.
Yeah.
And the problem with that one is when you put that one on, it significantly drops any of the low end of the audio, like the bass of the talking. So then you got to do a big EQ boost to put that back in. So yeah. Oh man.
So basically we're loud and obnoxious. Whereas Slack is pretty like even toned.
He's even toned, but he's just so wildly different in his volume.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. That's Slack's problem. But it's fine. It's just a Minecraft podcast. It's not it's not like we're creating stuff for the radio or anything particularly important. So I don't mind. It's just I'd like to put out stuff that people would consider decent quality, and I'd like people to be able to listen without having. The last thing you want to do is be fiddling with your volume knob. When you're listening to something, and that's why I try and help people avoid. And I also don't want people listening on phones to think everything's scratchy, and I don't want people in this car to feel like they've got to turn the bass down. So I'm just really, really aware of where we should sit in all of that, and it's hard. Anyway.
It's impressive though. Yeah. Next, Turtle Brine.
Turtle Brine says, Turtle Brine 78 here. I was recently listening to some old episodes of the Spawn Chunks, and they talked about this bug. If you had netherite in a shulker box, it then wouldn't burn. Mojang fixed this bug. However, I think implement it as a feature. Say a netherite coated shulker box could greatly improve nether safety. Do you like this idea and have any other ideas for uses of netherite? Turtle Brine, you are about 3 years too late, my friend. I have covered the netherite shulker boxes to death for years. Yes, put it in the game. I think it should be a thing. Why isn't it a thing? Oh, geez, yeah. I feel like you're a little bit late to the party there, but thanks for bringing it back to my attention because it is 100% something I would love. Jessiie?
Absolutely. Just that full stop. Give me.
Yeah. I don't know about other things necessarily. I mean, you put it on your armor and your weapons. I think shulker boxes is the obvious choice. I don't think anything else, like items, I don't think should necessarily be. I mean, you wouldn't want netherite coated totems or food or anything like that. You break your teeth on it. But definitely shulker boxes, 100%. Or like a netherite boat that you could go across the lava in rather than stupid striders.
Lava boat.
I daren't use a strider because I just think as soon as I get off, I'm going to end up in the lava.
The one time I ever used a strider was in Dan's base in season 2, right? He had the lava tunnel that went to his base and you had to use striders. The one time I used it, I died in the lava because I was trying to get off the strider and it wouldn't let me go on the ledge. Like it wouldn't let me up. And so I was like, never again. Yeah. I was like, never again. That was it. That was my one time.
When I used them for when they first put in the game, I was trying to find my way round to it was miles across the nether where me and Slack had left a beacon where we'd been tearing down a bastion. And everywhere I went, the gaps between the mountains of netherrack and the lava were 1 block high. So the strider could go through, but I was just suffocating the whole time. so yeah, it's not brilliant. It's not brilliant. So no, netherite boats, please. Right, okay. Am I doing pickles or are you?
I'll do it. Real Dill Pick says, would you say that covering Minecraft news on a weekly podcast has increased or decreased your enjoyment of playing Minecraft? That is actually a really good question. I don't know that it has changed my enjoyment at all, if I am being honest. I don't think it has made me more excited or less excited. What it has helped me with is I think hearing other people's points of view. I enjoy information, right? Like I really enjoy talking to other people. I enjoy hearing kind of things that differ from what I think or getting a new perspective. So I think it's made me enjoy the community more, maybe. I'll say that. What about you?
I do have a real issue with Minecraft at the moment. I don't know if it's just too many years playing it, too much content created of it, or whether it's something to do with these podcasts and the amount that I'm trying to cover with it. I don't know. So I couldn't put my finger on that it's like covering it every week that's causing the problem, but I do have a problem at the moment. I don't dislike Minecraft. I still really enjoy playing it. I need to find a new way of engaging with it that's going to hook me back in, because I feel like if I never played Minecraft again, then I wouldn't miss it at this moment in time. And that sounds awful, but it's just one of those things. And I got to this point a long time ago, about a year after I started my channel, and I did take a 6-month break, and then I got back in and I came back swinging because I did miss it and I really enjoyed it. But I just feel at the moment kind of like I've done everything too many times, and it's hard to jump back in and do the same thing again. And I'm trying to find a new hook constantly, which is why I'm doing stupid storyline videos and stupid Mr. Onion videos and update videos. And I'm really enjoying hardcore with Mitts, but it's a different experience, you know? So I think what would get me really engaged in playing Minecraft again would be to not just be on a multiplayer SMP, but be playing with other people. Actually that engagement. As much as I hate editing, I don't mind editing a podcast with multiple people, but editing footage.
Videos,
videos with other people is a nightmare, because it's not structured in any way at all, but it's certainly a lot more fun playing. And maybe that's what I need. Maybe I just need some time playing the game rather than recording the game. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know, Pickles, but thank you for bringing it up. So maybe give me some deep thought. Big Low says, which frog likes do you guys like better out of the three kinds? I think the orange ones look the most natural, but I guess I'd prefer the colour of the purple ones.
I was just going to say the same thing. I think I would have the most use for the orange ones, or like the yellowy orange ones. But I really like how the purple look. I like that shade of purple. Yeah. I think it's really pretty. And I can imagine building like in the end with them, maybe. Ooh. Like it would be really, really pretty. But like everyday basis, yeah, definitely. I think the orangey yellow ones.
Oh, Jessiie, I can answer the next question for you after you've written it, if you would like.
Okay, let's see. Hi, FJS. Aiden here. My question this week is, what is your favorite mod that Foxy made and why? What was your least favorite and why? Please be honest. Okay. What? You
absolutely love my UHC pack. I remember you saying it last week. That was your favorite.
What's my least favorite?
You absolutely hated the owl one, even though I haven't done that one yet. But you remember, because that person said you didn't like it and I should build a website.
No, you're so wrong. My favorite and my least favorite are the same one. And I know that sounds weird, right? Like my favorite, my least favorite, same one. The layered dirt. The layered dirt, layered gravel, layered blocks, right? Most amazing thing you have ever done, hands down, don't even care. I am so happy. I love them so much. I hate it because, again, I have sunk many hours into terraforming with these layers that I will never get to use. I'm not using it for anything. It's not for content. We don't have it on TV. I just sit there and I just play with layered terraforming and get nothing done. So as a content creator, you suck. As a player, it's amazing.
Jessiie B, single fantastic. Player, Dirt Layer World 1.
Yeah, no. I was joking around with Beardy. I think I mentioned it, that I want to make a world that's just called Foxy Hates Me. And it's just me like going to town with like all of your add-ons and just like trying to make like the most creative, like impressive like playthrough with these things, just because I think it would be amazing, because I want to use them for something other than just my creative world.
So do you think at this point Mojang should add dirt layers?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. I need them. They're so good, Foxy, honestly. If
I can implement them, surely Mojang can do it. It took me like an hour. Maybe 2. I'm sure Moyen can figure it out. Okay. My favorite mod. What's the most favorite one that I've done? Oh, jeez. I don't know.
I don't know. It's in there.
I use my avatar one a lot, particularly for making these videos, the storyline stuff like the Mr. Onion one. All of that was done with my avatars mod. I even used my fxnt.net website to do it all with, so to build all the packs and stuff. So that's probably my favorite. My least favorite is probably either the UHC pack or my camera mod, only because they're just so complicated and so difficult to work on and so difficult to go back to and fix when they go wrong, that I just really despise working on them. So I love the ideas behind them both, but they are awful. So that's my answer on that one. Just before we go on to the last question, Jessie, we did get a message from Benji. They said don't read it on the podcast. That was a person that told me to fix the website and stop making add-ons. They did say that they were joking. It was just a joke. So
well, that's good. I'm glad that at least they were like, hey, I'm totally pulling your leg.
And also, before we carry on, Plod has just written as a new wish list item in the Discord, and I don't feel like I want to miss it out because otherwise they're going to be waiting a whole new week. So I'm just going to go over this one quickly. And it says, here's something I'd like to see in game, an idle mode. Essentially, it would allow you to log off near one of your farms. Then when you log back in, it calculates what you would have obtained and had you been AFKing and delivers the goods. I accept it would be ridiculously hard to program and is never likely to happen. Why do I want it? Because AFKing means leaving computers on, pumping out heat and using up energy. In other words, valuable and increasingly expensive in the real world. Resources for hours at a time. So if the game could calculate roughly what would happen if you were logged out, you could still gain your stuff and save a bit of energy at the same time. I don't think that would be too difficult to implement.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you've probably heard of, or probably seen, if you haven't used it yourself, the Cheat Engine app that quite a few of us technical people use to speed up the game to simulate stuff.
Yeah.
All it does is it speeds up the clock, how fast the game ticks. And you can go roughly up to about 50 times faster, which obviously makes the world go incredibly quickly. But it speeds up the entire process of the game, including your farms. So Mojang, although this would be limited on devices that were a lower performance, they could implement a system that just like almost was a fast forward, maybe like a skip ahead button by like 30 minutes or something, and it just like did a fast forward animation, or even just the screen went black and did a loading screen and it come back in a minute and it was at that point. So that, I don't think that would be too hard to do at all. I think it would be intensive for lower end devices. I think it would the speed would have to depend on how good your device was, but it exists already, and all they need to do, they don't have to touch anything within the code. They just got to speed up how many ticks per second the game is pushing out, which would be very difficult to do on servers. Very difficult to do on servers.
Yeah.
But single player, easy.
I find that very fascinating in the sense of that would be one of those cases of they maybe could do it, but should they? Like I feel this weird like mixture, right? Like as a content creator, that sounds amazing. Just like, all right, I don't have to have my computer on and everything in my house like 1,000,000 degrees, and I don't have to waste that time. I could be doing something else. But it feels very cheaty to me. Like it just doesn't, that's the best word I can think. It feels very cheaty. And I don't know if I'd want that in like a vanilla game.
It does feel cheaty, and I think it would have to be something that was behind a cheat wall for sure. But I think, at the end of the day, people's time is valuable. And if you're working on a world and you've gone to the effort of building something that gives you lots of items, to then just have to sit around or go and do something else, leaving your device on or leaving your PC on just to get a couple of double chests with the gunpowder or something like that, when you could like click a button and it did it in 5 minutes instead of 5 hours. I think I wouldn't be against that as an option. A fast forward
as long
button.
as it was behind cheats.
Oh, yeah. It would have to be behind cheese.
Yeah.
100%.
Then, I could be on board with that then.
Okay, good. Right, well, back away from the wish list again and to our very last question from Dweeby Does. It says, I'd love a podcast chat all about the little nuggets of Minecraft play and rules that are assumed people know. I've been playing with my kids for years, but don't deep dive until recently. As an example, I learned the hard way that I can't place a shulker box full of my beloved items on the spawn platform in the end.
Oh, no.
What other bits of info are out there that I don't know, but everyone probably assumes I do? Or is this a me problem? Oh, man, yeah, stuff like that. That's awful.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. That's one of those why does it exist things for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just dumb. If it's covered in endstone, delete the endstone. Fine. If the obsidian platform has disappeared, put a new platform in. Fine. But why delete everything that's not endstone off it?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so
I've done exactly the same thing.
You.
I set up literally, and I didn't know this was a thing. Not even that long ago, and I set up everything now. It's ready to put all my double chests in there, put all my armor in, my golden apples, my enchanted golden apples, the lot. Died, came back, it was gone. And I was like, where's all? I couldn't believe it.
I think it was season 1 for me, actually. I didn't know that until season 1. I went to the end, put something down, and then died and was like, what just happened? I think I had a bed there too. Like I had everything because at the time I didn't know beds explode at the end. I thought that was just another thing. So yeah, it was. I remember learning the hard way. I can't think of any other rules, like just like off the top of my head, that are that way. Besides the bed thing, the beds explode in the end in the Nether.
Yeah,
did not know.
Most things in the game have some way of telling you what's going on. Either if it's an icon popping up to say that you can't mine properly when you go too close to an ocean monument, or some like what they call fart bubbles that are around you if you've got an effect of some sort. There's not many things that sneak up on you like that one. So, I just... I don't know. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Be careful. Be careful out there, guys. Jeez. Right, Jessiie B.
Yes.
That is the end of the questions, which means that is the end of today's podcast, other than to tell people what we're going to be doing this week. For me, I am going to be doing more vlogging, so expect to see those. If you're interested in watching those, they're going to be on my second channel, and hopefully... if in 3 days' time, once I've finished sorting out Jessiie B's audio for this podcast, I will start working on that Truly Bedrock story video, get that out of the way, and get back into things as well. What about you? What are you going to be up to? I
am going to be live streaming, just constantly. You're going to get so sick of my face. Like I'm going to be live streaming probably Monday through Friday all next week. Either on my Discord or on Twitch, depends. If it's in the afternoon, I typically will do Discord or evening, not afternoon, and during the mornings I do Twitch. But yeah, so that's basically it. I'm going to try very, very hard to get an episode out. No promises though, but I'm gonna try.
Okay, good. Well, don't forget, if you want to get in touch, you can email us at news@theminecraftupdate.com, and you can get us on Twitter, Discord, all the other stuff. All of the links are in the description below. But yeah, for now, all I'm going to say is exactly what I say at the end of every single other podcast, and that is that if you've got a cup that says I'm a happy smiley pickle on it, don't drop it on the floor.
Oh, bye, guys.
Peace out, bro. No. One day, Jessiie. One day.
One day. We'll find it. We'll find your exit line.
Yeah. Okay, I'm working on it. Jeez.